speed. So when they're skipping across the top of it, they keep that boat nice and flat and level,
Right.
and they're able to maintain that speed. But when they're coming up those waves and hitting down, then they're just slowing down, which is what they
Okay.
want to avoid as
Now,
well.
is that where you said the guy that's steering and then the guy with the throttle? Is that incumbent upon him to pull back and pull down on the throttle when he feels it?
Nonstop.
Yeah.
Right.
They are working that throttle nonstop. So they're trying to burp that throttle just a little bit, just up and over those
That's
waves.
got to be you got to be pretty good at what you're doing to know, get the feel of the ocean, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, get the feel of the ocean. Also, the communication between driver and throttleman is critical as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and hopefully they have a headset. We were saying that I told them earlier. I said that's usually the last thing that goes in the boat.
Yeah.
And the first thing that breaks.
Right. Or if the headset breaks, all of a sudden now you're banging on the guy's helmet going, hey, turn, turn.
Well, just right here with our setup, we were having problems with our audio and things like that. I'm sure they have problems in the boat.
Yeah.
When you lose audio, we start panicking here on the radio. But when you're in a race, I can imagine it's like
on that. Most of the boats out here today, I think we have one catamaran. All the others are V-hulls. They do not have a safety escape in the bottom, but usually they right themselves.
Oh, okay.
So
So you have a regular bow, I guess.
Yeah.
Then you have a pontoon type thing. Pontoon.
yeah, well, like
Or
a
a catamaran.
catamaran. So it's like a pontoon boat where you have two pontoon
Right.
on either side,
Right.
and so that'd be like a catamaran.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a tunnel down the center. So, and the tunnel coming down the center would actually get more narrow towards the back, so it builds more pressure and gives the boat more lift to get more of the
Do
boat.
they have an unfair advantage then?
Absolutely,
Oh, good.
absolutely.
Yeah, now one thing about when we're talking about safety in those catamarans, those the driver and throttleman go through a dunk tank procedure, so they are sitting in a canopy style containment in a pool, and they roll it over because they need to be able to get out of their safety harness, and they're going to have their helmets on, life jackets on, and be able to get oxygen in and be able to get out of that. They have to test for that before they're qualified to be able to.
And then they go to SEAL training after that.
Right. So, have you ever done scuba diving?
I've snorkeled, never scuba
Okay.
dived.
So the thing is, I've never done any scuba diving either, but they say that first breath, you have to clear your air regulator. You have to push your last breath out and trust that there's going to be air coming back in.
Yeah.
So that's
So
to me.
people can panic if you're in a situation where you're underwater, you're upside down, you're disoriented,
It's dark,
it's dark,
no windows,
Yeah.
and you might have taken, if you flip, you're obviously taking some hits.
Yeah.
knocked out.
So I mean
That's why the divers are coming in to make sure that you're
Wow.
conscious and you can get yourself out. If you can't, then they also carry cutters so that they can go ahead and cut the harness out. Yeah.
Yeah,
the average person doesn't even realize how much in depth this is.
there's a lot to it. Yeah, absolutely. And when the driver and throttleman get out, they have to give the signal to the helicopter, letting them know I'm okay. Okay, and if we can see something that's out there, and we can want to make sure that we see two helmets come out of that boat, and we get an idea of where we're at from a safety perspective, or from a hey, this is a more serious accident than we maybe first.
So there's a lot of risk and there's a lot of reward.
Yeah.
Do these boat racers, drivers, and the throttlemen, do they win purses? You said? Did you tell me that? Or
Yeah.
is it just this is all just for fun?
Here they're all trying to race towards a national point.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you win the champ, is it like winning a championship?
Yeah, you can, and there'll be different classes have different purses, and different different sites have different purses. Sometimes you can win. It's just like in drag racing.
Right.
It's just like the Friday night. You're going around a dirt track.
Okay.
You might win enough to buy gas to get home. But some nights you don't.
Right,
Now,
right,
yeah,
right.
You will win bragging rights.
Yes,
and
that's
bragging
the
rights
biggest-
go a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just like we have bragging rights over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, man.
Hey, I'm sorry.
You're gonna let you guys live that down.
Mike's cutting out. Mike's cutting. I can't quite hear you.
All right, well, we're broadcasting live here on the Steel Pier in Atlantic City. We're waiting for the weather to maybe get a little bit better for the offshore powerboat racing. But we're broadcasting live right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Welcome to North Beach, where the sun shines brighter and the fun never ends. Enjoy one-of-a-kind experiences, perfect for the whole family. From all-star entertainment and shows you can't miss, to the best gaming options around. There's ocean view rooms and relaxation at every corner. Whether you're looking for local flavor or something more indulgent, your taste buds will thank you. Raise a glass to cheers-worthy bars and make new memories this summer at North Beach. Your Atlantic City adventure starts here.
Having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day? We all have one from time to time, but there are simple actions we can take to instantly boost our mood. Let's explore a few. Text or call an old friend. Reconnecting can lift our spirits. Watch something funny on TV or online. Laughter is a powerful mood booster. Give someone a compliment or do something nice for someone. That always makes us feel good. Take a few deep, intentional breaths. Inhale, hold, and exhale slowly. It helps to calm our nervous system. Go for a walk outdoors. Nature and physical activity are great stress reducers. Finally, turn up the tunes. Nothing like an upbeat melody to make us feel better. I'm Robin Stoloff for Help Update.
ACUA's valet collection service is making summer living easier for Brigantine, Longport, Margate, and Ventnor residents. ACUA Electric Crews will place your containers on the curb and return them to your home. Sign up for the affordable service at acua.com oceancasino.com/ballet.
7 years of fun and play. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for our 7th birthday. Go for the fun times and tan lines. Go for the biggest acts and hottest tracks. Get a jackpot and take a lucky spin. With over $7 million in prizes, it's time to go for the win. We've cherry-picked 7 new experiences for sizzling summer fun. Make Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City the cherry on top to your summer. Book today at RadioOceanAC.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. 97.3 ESPN.
Just used to call Mother Nature and say, hey.
ESJD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey.
All right, we're back broadcasting live at Steel Pier in Atlantic City. Billy Slide, Brian, Brad's with me, and we're here waiting for the powerboat. We're waiting for the weather to clear.
Wait for the weather to clear up, absolutely. So, yeah.
And, once they give us the go-ahead, we'll have powerboat racing offshore, the Wharf to Shore. And we're here at the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, and Bill Cananoso is here with us. And, of course, Sharon Franz from the Steel Pier in North Beach, AC Partners. Welcome to the...
Nice to have you guys.
This is a pretty cool event.
This is a
So
great.
you got to be happy about this.
It's a great event. We just need to get rid of this fog.
Well, I was telling Brian and Brad about, in June you do get here, when you get the cold air, the warm water, vice versa,
Water.
you get fog.
Yeah, we do.
And in the spring, but our weather's generally great here in the
Yeah,
summertime.
great.
Once you get through June, July, August, September, October, there's nothing like it down here at the
No,
Jersey Shore.
Nowhere but the Jersey Shore to be here in the summertime. And I'm here with Sharon France. She's my marketing director, and North Beach is sponsoring this event. Sharon actually created the North Beach. She came up with this
Okay.
idea, and we joined together with the 3 casinos and us and Showboat and the Tennessee Avenue, and we created this district called the North Beach. And this is one of the great events that we have, and it was all Sharon's brainchild. So Sharon, go ahead, tell them about it. Can't hear you.
Let's see if we. All right, so let's see. We'll try to get Sharon up here in a couple. You want to give her your
Here,
headphones?
Sharon, go ahead.
Well, here, Sharon, take his headphones real quick. Sharon's gonna. So, how long is?
Technology. I just want to
There-
thank Ocean Casino for sponsoring ESPN Radio today.
Yes.
They're an amazing casino. We're so happy to be a partner with them in North Beach.
So, how did you come up with the concept North Beach?
Well, it was a couple of years back, and I just thought we got such a great product down here.
All right.
And we're just, with the 3 casinos, we're like in our own little world down here. So I was thinking, like, how about we have like a block party? Like just a block
You're
party,
right,
like
you're
a
right.
neighborhood block party, because we're good neighbors.
Yeah.
And so I put everybody together, the presidents of each casino property, the owners of the non-casino, and they all fell for it. They loved it.
Yeah.
Said it's great because it's a win-win. It's a
Yeah.
win-win. We're all promoting each other,
Yeah.
and it's very historical for casinos to promote each other. So
Yeah.
think of it like that too, how historical that is.
Yeah.
You got 3 casino properties actually promoting each other.
From the horse that used to dive into the water to North Beach. We got them all, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Steel Pier, right? Is where this. There. Sorry. How long is it?
Steel Pier has been around for 128 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been here. We took over in 1993. We reopened it.
Okay, reopen.
Me and my brothers and one partner, we opened the pier in 1993. We went to Donald Trump. It was nothing but a blank piece of
Yeah.
concrete. 150,000 square feet of seagull crap
Yeah.
and shells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we opened it up, and we made a deal with Donald Trump. Believe it or not, we made a deal with Donald Trump, and he took a liking to us, and we leased it from him for 20 years. And finally, in 2012, we bought the place. So then we've been developing ever since. But yeah, we actually had the diving horse in '93.
Is that? Did you
We
really?
ran it back. Oh, they tortured us. The animal rights people tortured us.
I remember when I was a kid, they had dance. Wasn't there a dance show that was on the
Oh
beach
yeah,
here
yeah,
too?
yeah. There was Tony Mark, Tony. What was Tony? Name of the dance show.
The dance show.
Tony
Yeah,
Mark.
I remember
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
broadcast.
Yeah.
The dance show on the beach. I guess it was. They'd have all the young kids out here
Yeah.
dancing. That was fun.
They started American Bandstand.
Yeah, American Bandstand.
Frank Sinatra played here 5 times a day. This is the Steel Pier.
Tony Grant.
Tony Grant.
Tony Grant's
Starts
birthday
at tomorrow. There you go.
So I Nick's my producer and co-host, Nicky Earnshaw, a lot younger than I am.
Yeah, Nick.
Right? Do you guys remember when, I don't know if they did in Atlantic City, they would sell the Bulletin in the Inquirer, Philadelphia Inquirer, guys walking up and down the
yeah.
alleys and on the beach and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Philadelphia Bulletin.
Yeah, we did
A
it.
lot of history here in
Oh,
Atlantic City,
Atlantic
man.
City, great history. I mean, this place is like, it's incredible. I have people coming up here every day telling me, "Oh, you remember
You
when I
remember
did
this? Yeah.
I came here and I saw the big bands. I saw Sinatra here. I saw everybody."
Miss America pageant used
Yeah,
to be here for
yeah.
years, right?
Yes.
A quick story. The Steel Pier actually saved the Miss America pageant. Back in the day, I'm not going to give you years. I'm not. But the Miss America pageant was going under, and
Right.
Steel Pier took it on for 4 straight years. Still got back on its feet.
Is that
Steel
right?
Pier saved it. Yeah, it was absolutely.
And Bill, I noticed you have a helicopter pad.
We have a helicopter.
What do you have, rides out here? Helicopter
We have
rides?
helicopter tours up and down the Jersey Shore, up and down the shore here, and
I'll bring my daughter over.
the
She would
only-
love that.
we're the only public helipad. So I bring charters in. People will call. They bring their charters in. We drop off players. Big stars like Diana Ross.
Well, I got to tell you, so back in the day, Bill, I used to work, I think it was 1985, because I remember it was the Villanova Wildcats, Raleigh Massimino
Right.
won. I was working in the Atlantic, in the resorts.
Right,
And you know what I used to do? I used to drive a Cushman, but it was like a cart,
right.
like a golf cart.
Yeah.
The helicopter would land with, like, stars would come from New York City,
Yes.
and I drive my thing out to the pier. I think it was one of the, I don't know if it was, maybe it's Steel Pier.
It's here.
And I drive them into the resorts.
Yeah.
And I did that for about, I don't know, 6 months. I saw a lot of
We
stars.
still do it.
Yeah,
Still
is
do
that
it.
right? Yeah.
The last took Jimmy Buffett when he comes in for his concerts,
He's,
and Diana Ross, like I said, always came. Whoever, they all come here.
Yeah.
There's no other public help.
Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my office and all of a sudden somebody says, we have one of our operative mechanics, he's from Ireland. He doesn't
Okay.
really know Roger Daltrey.
right.
He comes and picks him up back here on the thing, brings him down the pier. I'm in my office, nobody tells me Roger Daltrey's like outside your office.
Who?
Yeah, right?
That's
You know,
awesome.
you know who came to the pier a lot? Is Whitney Houston always came. She loved our spinning coaster.
Real.
Loved it. She came here a lot. She was very nice, very gracious person.
So now you got powerboat racing.
Now we
You
got
guys are
powerboat.
sponsoring that and bringing it to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's unique. Like
Yeah.
I cover the beach patrol races.
Oh,
We
oh
do-
yeah,
we
yeah.
do
That's
the,
a great thing.
Yeah, we do the Dutch Hoffmans. We cover the Margate Memorials,
Uh-huh.
and of course the South Jersey Lifeguard Championships. And South Jersey lifeguarding is synonymous to racing with South Jersey, but now powerboat, offshore powerboat, you're bringing that here. It's cool.
It's a great thing. And
Yeah.
the air show's coming back. Another
The air
exciting
show,
thing.
yeah.
We're excited about that. That's
Land, sea, and air.
there's nothing like sitting here with a jet flying over your head. It's incredible. It's incredible.
We're here
It's incredible.
broadcasting live, and we're at the Steel Pier in Atlantic City. We're 1,000 feet
1,000 feet into the ocean.
into the ocean.
Yeah.
So like we get a bird's eye view
Oh yes.
of the boats going right by us.
It's the best. It's the best view there is. This is a great spot back here at Bar. Come out here, people come out here, sit, drink. It's
Yeah.
really calm. It's nice. It's beautiful.
And if you just look to your right and a little, like, there's some dolphins out there also.
No, get out, really?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, they're-
Well, you probably see it. We see it
All the time.
Yeah.
It's great. We have great wildlife out here.
when I bring clients, because we do a lot of events, we do weddings, we do corporate outings.
Okay.
So I'm just like praying, please, please, please have a dolphin. I say, "Please." And then all of a sudden, the dolphins are starting, and the client loves it, they sign.
You know what? I live in Ocean City in the summer,
Oh yeah.
and I love the beach, and you're sitting out there, and you see these dolphins. They're in close.
Yes.
They're not far out. They're like
Oh, yeah.
there. And every once in a while, you'll see dolphins riding the waves and jumping in and out of the water.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, wow, this is really cool.
Can't beat this.
No.
I grew up in North Wildwood. It's the greatest down here. You can't. If you want you on the Jersey Shore.
We got to get Brad and Brian. We got to get the weather cooperating with us
Yeah.
here so they can do their thing.
It's a shame because really, it's just nothing like when you're out here and sitting out here having a cocktail or just sitting out here and taking in the ocean, the view of the city, and
Yeah.
it's spectacular. It's just-
Yeah, it's-
I know when I come across the 9th Street Bridge in Ocean City, you can see Atlantic City off in the distance. And it's just so cool. Like
I think
it's
you
like
could
on
see her
clear-
on wheel.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
third largest in the country, right
4th of
there.
July, you can always see your firework display going off
Yeah.
from anywhere,
Yes. it's
you
great.
know, because you shoot them up real high.
We do have a fireworks show coming on June 27th,
Okay,
Ocean on the North Beach
North Beach.
Partners.
North Beach.
Yep.
Right off the back of the pier here, phenomenal show. So, definitely try to get down. Anybody who's listening.
I like to throw a shout out to our local police force.
Yeah, they did a
Incredible.
great job.
Atlantic City Boardwalk, safe. We've done a
Is that
great
right?
job. Chief Sarkos, when he took over a few years back, It's been nothing but uphill. Everything's been great. They got a whole police force just on the boardwalk. It's incredible. People come here all the time. We hear it every day. Wow, we've been to other places. This boardwalk, we feel so safe. It's really nice.
You know what? And safety counts for a lot because
Yeah.
people aren't going to come if it's not safe.
Yeah, and it's great. They're doing a great job here.
And of course, we got the state police here, the
Right.
Marine Police.
Good guys.
We have this Coast Guard here.
Yep.
And as soon as the weather cooperates, we'll get
We'll
the
have
power
boats. Hopefully we'll have boats.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this has been great, though. We appreciate you guys being
guys
here.
did.
Thank you for having
You
us.
know, and OPA for being here, everything.
Well,
Okay.
Bill and Sharon, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I think Brian has a.
I just wanted to jump on real quick and say, Bill, thank you very much. You guys have been incredibly gracious hosts.
Great. Yeah.
We absolutely love coming here. There's nothing like having a boat race here. Unfortunately, Mother Nature at this point, right this second, give us a little bit more.
Heating
Hopefully,
us up.
she's gonna come through. But really, you guys, your entire staff have been incredibly gracious.
Appreciate it.
From OPA and all of our racers, thank you very much. We really
you guys
enjoyed
for
it.
coming.
Absolutely, anytime,
Appreciate it.
anytime. So,
All right.
yeah. So,
All right, don't
North
forget.
Beach.
Go
You gotta come down and get a helicopter ride.
You gotta come down, ride the wheel. Third largest in the country.
Is that
you
right?
can see
right.
the thing from space.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when it's clear, the fog's a fog.
Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys having us on.
Thank you.
We're broadcasting live from the Steel Pier in Atlantic City. The crowd, we got a big crowd here. They're just waiting for the fog to lift, and we'll get the powerboat racing. Nick, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
So,
man, run it around.
see, you young cats, you don't know about the history of Atlantic City.
No, I don't. I know a little bit.
They used to have a
To say the
horse.
least.
They used to have a horse that would
Yeah.
go down a slide, jump into the pool. Yeah,
How about that?
yeah.
Yeah, so we're broadcasting live here from Steel Pier. That was a great interview, guys, by the way. That was a lot of fun. So we're just kind of waiting around, a little bit of a delay here because of the fog. So we're just waiting to get word on what's next.
Yeah, and it's not unlike any other motorsport that's out there. NASCAR experiences some of the rain delays and things like that. Football from time to time
Yeah.
does as well, depending on where you're at. So this is not something that we want to have happen, but it's something that we have to deal with. And when we go to these places all the time, there's always some type of caveat something
Right.
we've got to deal with. One little last minute thing, we're like, hey, this is not quite what we want to do,
Yeah.
but get on your horse and figure it out. So yeah,
Yeah, so we're on the fly right now. We're
Yeah.
going, we're
Yeah.
running. Hopefully the fog can clear out a little bit. We'll get some updates as they come along. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, I learned a lot just standing here. I'm not even gonna lie. Just standing here listening to the history of Steel Pier, I learned a ton from that. So that was a really informative interview. We want to thank also Ocean Casino
Yeah.
sponsoring 97.3
Zach
ESPN.
picked me up and drove
That's
me.
the man. He's
Zach.
He's,
Yeah.
he's in the hoodie. He's fantastic. So Zach's been awesome.
I guess can we hook Zach up for a few seconds?
Yeah.
Talk to Zach. What's up, Zach?
Zach's been helping us out. We're going in the delay right now.
There's always one unsung hero, and it's Zach today.
Zach has really been.
Are you
unsung here.
stressing, Zach? Like, with
No,
the wind and everything? Like we thought this was
Never
we're having a hard time getting off the ground.
yeah. Well,
But this is cool.
this is Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Win. Then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make it work.
I was talking about how like in June you get these conditions.
Mhm.
It's not foreign to us.
Yeah.
With the air temperature is one thing, and the water temperature, ground temperature is another. So you creates fog.
Yep.
So as soon as it lifts, but it's in June you get this a lot.
Yeah, you get a lot. Makes it a little tough, but you work around it, and it makes July and August even better.
Yeah. Well, we also want to thank Ocean Casino
Yeah.
Resort for all their hospitality.
Absolutely.
Great sponsor. So Zach, thank you for all you do. Anything
Absolutely.
you wanted to add?
No,
for
listen,
today?
we're excited for today. We're excited for a great summer at Ocean with.
Here's Zach. I want to
everything
give you a
else.
locker room cup for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
ESPN.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks
So,
for jumping on.
Nick, man, you think you'd like to get on one of these power boats?
Yeah, man, I could do it. I could get out there. I really think I could do anything
Do you have
at
to-
some point, you know?
Brad,
Brian.
do you have to be like upper body strength for something like this?
I mean,
Because like nothing from nothing, he's not chiseled out of stone.
he's soaking wet. So yeah. No,
You need a bigger. I mean, to do the throttle, you're getting bassed all around the place.
You do. I mean, it's a workout. I mean,
Right.
it's physically
So,
taxing.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Brian, when we did the you filled in for me when we previewed the Kentucky Derby.
Did.
We had Hall of Fame jockey Tony Black on.
Yep.
You know what he said? Jockey's got to be, you know he's a jockey, so he's a little biased, But he said jockey's got to be in great physical condition to sit on top. It's not easy to sit on top of a horse and ride it. So I'm sure the same thing holds true for the throttle guy and the guy holding on to the steering wheel.
Yeah, so, when you're bouncing around across those waves and things like that, there's a lot of G-forces that are pulling you in all directions, up, down, left, right, So there's a lot of that. You've got to be in control. You've got to understand where the boat's going to be, not only where you're at right that second, but where it's going to be 3 seconds from now, 5 seconds from now, and anticipate the traffic that you're going to be in with the rest of the racers.
And one thing Nick, we talked about we saw the Preakness. Sovereign or journalism was getting bumped all over the place. Right?
Yeah.
They were neck and neck. They were banging, and you said earlier that the boats bang too.
Yeah, the boats will come in contact with each other.
Wow.
Which is surprising to me because you wouldn't think that boats that are that expensive would be banging each other.
They don't want to.
No, they don't want to, but it happens.
But it happens. Yeah, absolutely. These guys are competitive and they are out there to win. We know it's a hobby. Nobody wants to come in second place. They just don't.
No.
So they're looking for that competitive advantage, and sometimes you bump into each other.
I don't even like to lose at checkers, man.
That's right.
He's a competitive guy.
So Zach, it was here just a minute ago. We were bringing equipment up this morning, and we were coming across the boardwalk, and a guy starts running, and Zach's like, and steps on the gas. So even there, we're in a side by side. This guy's running down the boardwalk, and Zach's like, nope, not today.
So we're on the pier and we're overlooking the ocean. We're 1,000 feet out over the Atlantic Ocean, and this is a great venue. Like if once these boat races start, we're going to be right on top of them.
Right on top of them, absolutely. When these big boats go by,
But they're loud too, right?
yeah, you probably won't. We won't be able to talk.
Really?
Yeah, you probably won't hear us. Yeah, we'll be talking. You'll see our lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you just
It'll
said.
be loud.
Yeah, yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get it going soon.
Oh man, I'm praying.
I'm like, I want it to happen. So it seems like such a
And
fun
Sharon
event.
said I didn't see the dolphins. She said she
No,
saw
there's
a bunch of
dolphins out there. Did you see the dolphins out there?
I saw one over here by that green marker a
Yeah.
little bit ago. Yeah, just right there.
When I was running around during the last hour or so, I was like,
I didn't know what you were doing. What were you
we were doing a lot. So there was like 2 of them I saw right up next to the pier. Yeah, so you have dolphins out there. Now, what happens if there's dolphins out there? Is there any like
Don't
something-
run away.
something would happen?
The dolphin will get away.
So,
has that ever happened from your experience?
well, there's a lot
Colin?
of times depending on the race course and things
Right.
like that. We have there are some race courses that have turtles or manatees and,
Right,
and
right.
dolphins
Oh,
and things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So the helicopter that'll be up there that is for safety. If we see something like that, then yeah, we'll say, hey, we've got to wait for just a second to get something off the course. It's not super frequent, but
Right.
it's not unusual either. So yeah, and because you don't want to hit a dolphin at speed, you don't want to hit a turtle at
Yeah.
speed. Number one, you don't want to hurt the animal. Number two, you don't want it to
Well, you hit
Boat
a
over,
dolphin,
yeah.
it'd be the equivalent of hitting a deer.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
damage your boat.
yeah, it can be catastrophic. Yeah, you want to avoid that at all costs.
But being from somebody from the coast, usually marine animals, they hear the boats coming, they'll get out of the way.
Yeah. So we'll be here till about 3:30 on the radio portion. We'll go till about 3:30 right here on 97.3 ESPN. We're at the shore, the powerboat races here in Atlantic City, Steel Pier. Lot to get to. Hopefully, we're in a delay right now because of the fog. Fog's out there.
We're in a rain delay.
Yeah, we're in a delay. So we're just filling time here on 97.3 ESPN radio down here in Atlantic City. Schreiner, you were out there. You were marketing it. You were marketing out there. You're giving out cups.
Yeah, you
stuff
see
like
that?
The cups are fantastic. We got to give you guys a couple of cups.
Yeah,
before we go.
we're gonna get out.
Officer Ryan from the state police, I gave him a couple cups.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
listens to the locker
The
room.
big locker room listen.
He's over there pretending like they can't hear us
Yeah.
talking about it. We can see you.
And we got to thank the Coast Guard. They do a
Yep.
great job, and the state police for the state of New Jersey, because they got to be out there on the water.
Yeah, and we can't do this event without them. Obviously, we appreciate everything they possibly do. Yeah, it's been great, and every time we come here, everybody's always so generous and so easy to work with. Sometimes it's we got to make calls we don't want to
Yeah,
make, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what? In the event of safety, we work there with the local assets, and they just take good care of it. So yeah, very happy to do that. So.
Yeah, Coast Guard does a great job. State Police, want to thank them. Ocean Casino, Steel Pier. I mean, we got a couple interviews coming up in a little bit.
Okay.
But we had fun in the locker room today. How about that? That was a lot of fun.
So every Sunday we go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, and we get his perspective. You know, I would imagine professional racers like you guys are. You know, there's intricacies that I'm not aware of. But when you talk to like a Craig Berube or a Tommy Green, former players that are now coaches, you get a different perspective. So somebody that you have an intimate knowledge of racing, the intricacies. There's so much more involved than just like watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on when you're in the boat that you don't think of all the time, but you have to think of it in that moment. And it's one of those things where just after a while of doing it, it just comes natural. You're like, hey, I don't have to think about this part, but I'm thinking.
Television sports, right? If you,
Right.
Like, so when you're in practice, like, and I can only speak football. I played football in high school and college. Repetition, you just keep working that same play over and over, so that when you're in the game, it's second nature. You don't have to think about it; you react.
Yep.
Same thing with boat racing.
Yeah, and you'll see sometimes in a boat, these guys will have a checklist of things that they want to make sure that they don't forget to do because then you're in the moment, especially if something doesn't go exactly as planned. All of a sudden, you put your helmet on and your comms don't work, and you're like, oh, what do I do? Now,
Nick's laughing because he knows all about that. We're having a problem with our comms today.
and you're there, and you're like, all of a sudden the comms are a problem, then you forget to do something else on
Right,
the boat, and you're like,
right,
oh,
right.
and now I got to figure out how to make this stuff work on the fly. So there's a lot of that stuff where if you don't do this a lot, you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm having a really bad day in the boat. And all that comes with time. It all comes with repetition. It all comes with just seat time in the boat. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to race with Brad, who's had a ton of experience. I've had the great privilege of racing with other people. He mentioned Mike Gordon earlier. I raced with him as well. A lot of good people. And one cool thing about the sport that we don't talk about all the time is that you go down to the pits and you talk to these racers, and one guy's like, "Oh man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because I forgot this part or I broke something." A racer, his competitor will say, "Oh man, I got one for you. Put it on because I want you to come out and race." So there's a lot of camaraderie in the pits when those guys are talking about, "I need something," or "Hey, how are you doing this?" or whatever. Now, they get out on the water, all bets are off.
Right.
It's
No more
cutthroat.
friends.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Clay, how many, how big is a crew, a pit crew for a boat?
Depends on the size of the boat. So you'll
Right,
have
okay.
you have two-man crews. You have a throttle and a driver.
They have to be everything from throttle guy, driver, and mechanic.
Explain that to the audience, like, on what kind of the different jobs are on the
So
boat.
you'll have, you've got the driver who is literally doing nothing but driving. They don't have any other responsibility other than
Right.
keeping the boat in the correct attitude. Then you've got the throttle man that's controlling the speed of the boat, who's also doing the trim and trim tabs and keeping the attitude of the boat exactly where you want to. Then you'll have some support staff back in the pit, a good mechanic or somebody that, hey, when I come back, this isn't exactly right. Or, hey, based on the conditions we have, we want to change to this prop, or we want to move some weight in the boat from the bow to the stern, or port starboard, wherever they need that weight when they get out.
That's called ballast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ballast.
Yeah, and some of these boats have ballast tanks that actually allow them to suck up water during the race
Really?
course and then eject that water during the race course as they're going around, just to be able to balance that boat properly, because you have conditions now. It won't be so much at this port, but you may have conditions where you're running into like a bay area, but then you go out to sea, and the sea conditions are considerably different than what you have
Right,
here.
right.
So they'll want to be able to adjust ballast while they're doing that live racing.
Speaking of weight, Brad, do they have certain weights? They all have to weigh the same.
So it depends on the class. There's some specs that we'll have with that, and we'll kind of talk about that later when we get into the boat racing. But yeah, but weight and ballast are going to be important things because and center of gravity, how the boat is balanced and things like that. So um, my friend Brad that I race with, obviously, his daughter Stella will race with him occasionally in the shootout. Now the difference between Stella driving and me driving, Stella 95, 100 pounds, okay? Me, I'm a little bit bigger boy than that. So I got a little bit more ballast in the boat.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
it's good, sometimes not so good. So, but yeah, it's a good time, and yeah, there's a lot of perspective to that. So
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And now I think, are we bringing them on?
You want to
Nick
hear?
Smith, yeah, Nick could come on. From OPA, president of the OPA, coming on now. Jump on 97.3 ESPN radio.
Yeah, so
What's going on?
Brett Harrington, I'm back here again.
What's up,
and,
Brad? How are
I,
you?
I brought great. I brought back a good friend of ours and the president of this organization, Nick Smith.
Hey guys, happy to be here.
What's going on, Nick? How are you? We were working together today.
Yeah, we're all working together. The only one not working with us today is Mother Nature.
Yeah, that's the only one that's not working. It's a little bit of fog out there right now, so we're just kind of waiting for that for a little bit.
Yeah, and so Nick can fill us in on that. What we're actually waiting on. You know, he's part of the team that's going to make the call one way or the other. And what we're doing everything we can to get the race in today. And Nick, you want to give us kind of an update?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're kind of in a hurry up and wait situation. All of the assets are in place. They're on the docks. They're ready to go. The racers are in the water, ready to race. And right now we're in a situation where we're working with the United States Coast Guard and the New Jersey State Police to ensure the safety of the event. We need some visibility. That's really what it boils down to. This fog is so thick, I can't even see the casinos behind us.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's gotten thicker as the day's going on, too.
It has.
feels like.
It has. We have a lot of pressure in the area, the cold water, the warm temps.
Okay.
It's not helping. I think we're going to wait until about 2:30 to
Okay.
make an official call. Not that we're planning on canceling the race, but the way it boils down is we have 2 races to run today. We condensed all the boats down, expecting the weather. So it takes about an hour to run each of these races. So,
Right.
the Coast Guard permitted this area for us to use it until 4 or 5 o'clock. So by 2:30, 3 o'clock, if we're not green flag, we're going to run out of time.
Okay. All right, so that's an update there on where the races stand now. We're currently in a delay due to the fog as of right now.
Yeah. So also, Nick is also a big enthusiast as well, and his family has been in offshore powerboat racing for a very long time. And he can also tell you how proud he is to be able to bring the racing back to Atlantic City. Nick, if you want to fill us in a little bit about that, about how this is such an honorable race to be able to bring it back.
Yeah, so obviously I'm from the Jersey Shore, right? Born
Yeah.
and raised here.
Love it.
This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I do this with all my best friends. We travel the country together. We put on these events. We race these boats. For me, I'm very successful around the country providing events in Michigan and Florida and all these different places we go, and it's great and it feels great. But there's nothing like being in your own backyard putting on a show like this. To in the last 25 years, we've run, Point Pleasant, Seaside, Barnegat, Lake Apacong. We've been all over New Jersey. We were in Atlantic City back in, the 2010 to 2016 range.
Right.
And what always feels so cool about Atlantic City is just the mystique of it, right?
Yeah.
There's like history is brought up so often around the 2 of these places, right? The Offshore Powerboat Association and Atlantic City. Offshore racing has crazy lineage back to, movie stars racing these boats and, the old bootlegging days and how it all got started and just cool old stories. And then how does it pair any better with any other location than Atlantic City, where
I mean, it's a Jersey Shore. It's a staple.
yeah,
Staple.
it is, and it is so rich with such cool history from the diving horses to the casino, the gaming town, and how it got established. And I mean, how many TV shows have they now made about it?
Right.
And so
Right.
and they keep coming up with new stuff to talk about. So it's just cool to put the 2 things together. It feels right. We've been in town now since Thursday.
Okay.
We've been all over the place, different casinos, different bars, different restaurants. Tennessee Beer Hall last
Yep.
night, right?
It was a cool place.
Got to meet with Sal, right? That's running the joint over there. And
Yeah,
hung
he
out-
came on a little bit earlier.
Yep, and
He's great.
he hung out with us all night. He came up to me this morning and he goes, "Man, I got to tell you, I just met all your guys last night, and I feel like I've known them for 20 years."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's awesome. We've finally found a home here in Atlantic City on the
Yeah.
Jersey Shore. It's the people are behind it, the sponsors are behind it. Right now we're sitting on the steel pier. How could you find a cooler way to watch a boat race than, if you're getting bored, go take a ride up to the top of that Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Check out the races.
There's a couple of rides going on here. You got the boardwalk right behind you. So there's tons of stuff while you're here to do as well. So like it's just a great location to have the races because there's so much to do. You get to watch the races and hang out before and after.
Right, right. And you just get so many cool people surrounding the event as well, right? Like all day today working through this with our partners at the Coast Guard and the State Police, and they've been so helpful, so honest, and just stood behind us every step of the way to this point. And I really hope for all the hard work that everybody's put in, we get to light these boats up and give everybody a show today.
Yeah, hopefully. So 2:30 is the time, correct? Is what we're kind of ballparking at this point when we're gonna know kind of the big update of what's
Right.
gonna happen.
That's
Right.
our go, no go.
Go or no go?
Yep.
At 2:30. All right. So for our 97.3 ESPN listening audience, Good, no, go or no go. You heard it right here. 2:30 will be the time where we kind of figure things out and get the official word.
I mean, we would love to have the sunshine come out here before that, and
Yeah,
then
it'd
we'd
be
be out
great.
here racing.
It'd
So
be great. So yeah, there's a little bit of fog out here. We're currently in a delay as of right now. So that's where everything stands. Nick, thank you so much for that insight. Anything else you want to add about Atlantic City just hosting these races and where we're at the Steel Pier?
Sure, sure. I mean, it's just obviously I'm so proud to be here. Everybody knows how cool this event is, and if you really think back and and put it in a way you can understand it, right? This used to be the World Championships of offshore powerboat racing. In the 80s and 90s, this event was called the War on the Shore. When we started bringing this event back, we named it the War at the Shore, just a little nod to the lineage there. And we just have incredible partners. Like to be here with the entire North Beach group, right? Between the Ocean Casino, the Showboat, the Hard Rock, Steel Pier, Resorts, Tennessee Beer Hall, Absecon Lighthouse, Bar 32, Golden Nugget, Atlantic City Sports Commission, Visit Atlantic City, and our title sponsor, the Ocean Casino Resort. I truly believe with this partner, with these partners, we can build this event into something everybody wants to come to.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic event. A little wet right now, but hopefully, the weather will start cooperating with
Right,
us a
right.
little bit, right?
And man, I got to tell you, like over the years, we've been so fortunate. Like I can't remember the last time we came to a town and didn't run a boat race.
Right.
I honestly can't tell you the last
Right.
time that happened. And I've been doing this since 2001. Okay, so
It's a year after I was born.
yeah,
You've
it's
been doing it for a long time.
long time, man. I'm being honest, I've never seen it. And we're hopeful. The guys are ready. Everybody's ready to rock and roll, and we just really hope we get the opportunity to show what we're made of.
Yeah, I hope we get to.
and you had a guy coming on here just a little bit, I think. And didn't you say he was on his way up here?
Yeah, that's Frank Rocco. Frank Rocco is one of the owners over there at the Ocean Casino. Beautiful establishment, and just a really interesting story there. How this whole thing has come to be. We've come to be friends in all this, and awesome partner, and he's the driving force behind bringing this event back.
Cool. In the meantime, we've got one of the racers that's sitting right here, and I was talking to him a little bit about the conditions because he's a pilot as well. So maybe we can get Russ Bruniger to come on here and talk to us a little bit. Get him a headset, and here. Russ, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing?
I appreciate you jumping on here. We were talking earlier about conditions, of course, and as you know, and everybody knows here, we're just in a holding pattern. But you have a background in aviation, and you were saying now, Brad, there is a little bit of dry air to the south of us.
There is.
Like-
There's a little bit of dry air coming up in from Delaware, so we would think that maybe it would push some of this out, but it's starting to get thicker, so I don't really know what's going on. We looked at Atlantic City, which is only a couple miles away, the airport there, and they're calling 700 overcast right now, and they're not saying anything about fog, just a little bit of mist. So I don't know. This must just be right over us.
Oh, lucky us.
So when you say something like 700 overcast, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
So 700 feet off of the ground at the airport is where they're calling the overcast at. So that's the layer of the overcast cloud. And overcast would be solid, right? Then you have broken and whatnot after that. But normally you can have an overcast layer, say at 700, and anything from the ground up there would be fairly clear. But with what we have right now, normally they would call like 700 overcast with fog is what we're seeing here. And that's not what the airport's calling for. And that's only little ways in.
So for those of us sitting here that are just itching to put these boats in the water and go out there and race, right? Tell us something we want to hear. How do we get to that point?
Well, the one thing is none of us can really tell what God's going to do, right? But what it's looking like is if what the airport's calling and the way everything's moving, we would think that that is moving this direction.
Right.
Sure.
So there is some silver lining there.
We can only hope, right?
Right.
So I'm showing the guys the radar right now, and we have some showers down to our southeast a little bit. But maybe after that pushes through, it might have a little bit of window of
Yeah,
clarity.
right in behind that little line of showers that you see there was some dry air that was moving behind it.
And it's moving. It's coming up. this
It is.
way.
It's moving fast too.
Yeah.
It's not slow moving, which is another thing that seems weird here because what we're seeing, I'm not seeing this move the way that we're seeing it move when we look on the radar.
I know, I know, I know. I know that you have a young man that's over in the pits that's just itching to get out there today.
We do, we
Yeah.
do. So my son, this would be his first race, 16 years old, run Pro Modified B. And I think Nick could tell me better. I think he's the youngest, right?
At the moment, yes, I do believe he's the
Yeah,
youngest offshore
in
powerboat
modified
racer
B.
on the circuit.
How old were you when you started?
Oh, I'm not allowed to give you that. When I first started boat racing, I was 14.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Cool. Cool. Well, if you have parent consent, that's our regulations, I believe. So, but I know that your son is really stoked to be out there with his uncle, correct?
Yep, yep. And he lives this stuff. It's like he just absorbs everything. As a matter of fact, earlier in the pits when we were putting the boat in the water, he's talking to Nick's brother, and Anthony looked at him and said, "You really do listen to everything I say, don't you?" Well,
He's like a sponge.
He
I've noticed that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's really
well, and that's true. I mean,
cool. Hey, Brian.
yeah.
Thanks
I'm
for
not
coming
here actually. Yeah, we got a mic working for me. I would say that your son has probably geeked out about this more than anybody else that we've talked to, in a
for
good
sure.
way. And
Yeah.
he comes up and asks questions. He got big bright eyes, like, "Hey, tell me what and just tell me everything about it." And it's cool to see that. Yeah, and
Enthusiasm.
he's not just getting into it now, right? So he's always been involved with the team. And then last year, what we did was we actually moved him into like a legitimate crew chief position. So he could learn about the ins and outs of the boat, how the engines go in, how the drives go on, and all this other stuff, and how to prepare the boat to put it in the water and, get the fire suppression systems and all that going. And this year, we're going to put him in another boat as a navigator. And it just turned out that my brother decided that he was going to let him drive. And I was like, okay, if you're going to let him do it, then I'll step aside, and that's it. He's in now. Well, he was talking to Smitty earlier today and was asking him technical questions about their boat. And like, hey, why are you supporting the exhaust when it comes out the side of the boat and all this? And Smitty's like, just had this look at his face, like, are you kidding me? What are you asking these questions? And he said, hey, you're asking really great questions. And I'm just sitting there, watching, going, wow, this is awesome, because we want to encourage as many young people to get back into the sport as we possibly can. So when we see stuff like this, super cool. Really appreciate it. It's really something we'd like to see. So yeah, awesome. No, he loves it. We're building another boat too in the process of it, and he's like, involved in everything. So that's probably why he's asking all these questions.
He knows you're going to put him to work when you're at home.
He's like, you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
And
cool.
as somebody who knows something about that, okay, like I grew up the same way Zach did, right? I coming up through the sport as a kid, I couldn't get enough information. I couldn't hear enough rumors or secrets or tricks or tricks of the trade. So he reminds me so much of people like myself, Johnny Saris, some of these guys who have gone on to great heights in the sport, and he's going to get there one day. And kudos to you for having the faith and trust in your son to put him in a boat like a modified B.
Right.
Like for me, I had to work my way up through the ranks, and that's not a slight to Zach, right? Like it took me 10 years to finally get my hands on something like a modified V, right? And so how cool is that for the kid to get a ride right out of the gate? And, in my opinion, you don't climb, the ladder is great for development, but at the end of the day, you learn this sport in real time. You learn it on the race course, and he's going to pick it up. He loves it. He eats, sleeps, breathes it, right? So I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for you. You have to be so proud.
I am.
And,
It's just, it's unbelievable. And it doesn't, you can guide them a little bit, but he needed to like it. You know what I mean? Like I could push him in that direction, and I could say, look, this is what we do, but he needs to like it, and he just took to it immediately. He just loves it. Well, let me ask, what does mom think about him being in the boat? Tell us about that aspect.
Doesn't know. Thinks we're at soccer this weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, my wife's very much involved in the race team as well. I'm sure she's not super stoked about it, but it kind of like he wanted to do it and I wanted to let him do it, so better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You're not telling me that you didn't tell her initially. You're like, hey, well, she'll just find out when she finds out. Well, I mean, we may or may not have gone to her and asked for permission.
Okay.
But we just see how it goes. I told him, hey, look, you want to,
your uncle said that he's willing to let you drive. Do you want to drive? And then the wife was told, hey, by the way, he's going to drive this year.
Well, we've met your wife, and she's super supportive of the sport and of you guys,
Absolutely.
and is a great person, and we appreciate that as well. So
You have to have a team like this. The entire family has to be involved.
yeah. I didn't get to grow up racing boats, but I bought my first boat when I was 9 years old.
Who
I
says
bought
you're done growing up?
yeah,
Hey,
you assume my
amen.
peak. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, I bought my first boat when I was 9. It was a flat bottom John boat, and I'm dragging it across the yard. My mom comes out. She goes, What are you doing?" I'm like, "I bought a boat." She goes, "No, you didn't." I'm like, "It's right here." So my grandfather was a big boater, and he brought this little 7.5 horse Scott Atwood motor and put it on the back of the boat, and we went zipping up and down the lake because I lived on the lake at the time, and I've been addicted ever since. And it just and I've been fortunate enough to meet Nick and Brad and be able to get introduced to this side of boating, and it's in my veins, and I go crazy with it. So,
And it was kind of the same way for us too. Like, as we were growing up, we had a family friend who owned a race boat, and that kind of got us interested in racing. But we've always same thing like you. I can't even remember how old, but I remember we had a little 12-foot aluminum boat with like a 3 horsepower, 3.5 horsepower motor on it. We'd go crabbing, doing all that stuff, just me and my brother, and then we got a bayliner, and we've had little boats the whole time growing up, and then having the family friend that was involved in racing, and it was just it was an evil progression.
natural, even, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that's good stuff. So, all right,
Yeah, absolutely. So,
welcome back.
yeah, I'm back. we Nick Earnshaw, 97.3 ESPN radios. Currently, what we're on, we're in a weather delay as of right now. Guys, hopefully it could clear up a little bit. That would be nice if we could get there and get these races in at some point.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, all the boats are in the water. I just called over there, and they're like, we're in the water. We're ready to go. Just waiting to be released.
So we're just kind of waiting now as we get started, waiting for the weather, waiting for the call, as everything goes right now. So, guys, I mean, just from your perspective, like in weather like this, like what's it like going through the elements as it is out here right now?
Now, it would not be very easy to race with this, especially in a canopied boat like what we have. It's very difficult to see when it's clear out.
Right.
So having something like this, we definitely need to get it to clear up a bit to be safe.
So when you're racing like this, right? There's two things that come into play, right? You're not just racing the other guys on the water, you're also racing the ocean. Right. So when you're out there, you're reading the water. As a driver, that's a term we use that maybe people don't entirely understand, right? But it is literally just that. You're reading it left to right, up and down, and you're watching the rollers, you're watching the direction, you're watching the spaces in between. If you're driving, you're correcting the attitude of the boat, making it fly straight, making it land straight, right? As a throttleman, you're constantly looking to that next wave to see how much you need to use to get to that next wave so you don't case it in between, right? And there's a lot of technical skill that comes along with running in the ocean. So when you start adding these challenges like fog or rain, it really puts pressure on the drivers to perform.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it puts a lot of pressure, especially when you're in elements like this. You have to battle the ocean as well as trying to see visibly in front of you a little bit. So that's a really good point there, and I think our audience, to tell them kind of where we're at with everything, if you want to give another update on where kind of things stand.
Yeah, sure. So for anybody just joining the broadcast now, we're on a weather delay. Where the combination of the cool temperatures in the ocean and the pressure and the ceilings here have created a situation where we don't have any more than maybe 200 or 300 yards of visibility. These race courses are 4.5-mile courses. If you can't see the turn buoys, there's likely scenarios where those boats could wind up head on or completely off course. So right now we're holding. We've condensed what was going to be 4 races down into 2. The boats are ready on the docks, ready to go. All of the safety assets and OPA medical team and everything is in place. If we get some clearing, we will 100% be racing today. It takes about 20 minutes for us to restaff this course and get fired up. So our permit here on the ocean expires around 5 o'clock. We're going to look to make a call around 3. being that 2 hours is about as much time as we need to run both of those races. If we get any closer to that cutoff point with the permit through the Coast Guard, we will have to make a call to cancel.
Yep, and right here on 97.3 ESPN, Nick Earnshaw broadcasting live from the Steel City Pier. We will be taking the broadcast to about 3:30, and then a wrap up at after 3:30 till about 3:55. So that is where we are at as of right now. Hopefully, we can get these races in soon. We can get some word on that. But just kind of going back and forth. What were your expectations heading in today, Nick? Just overall in general.
Had the weather not came in?
Yeah, had the weather not came in, what were your expectations overall?
Had this not happened, we were geared up for a beautiful day today.
Yeah.
The teams that are in town, these are the guys that run for national championships nationwide with us in the series. This is the kickoff race. It's a big points race, and this is a big victory here. If you can pull one off in Atlantic City, you set the tone for the 2025 season. See, none of us are particularly weary, right? So you got to be kind of crazy to do this. So when you go out there and you get the green flag and you can demoralize your competition at a race site like Atlantic City, that means a lot when you get to the next race site, right? It sends a clear message that you're a problem in that class. If you can win here, you can win anywhere.
Yeah, no, in Atlantic City, like we talked about earlier, great site for a race like this. Just hopefully the weather can cooperate. Currently, we are in a delay as of right now. If you guys want to add anything, I mean, what do you make of it being back in Atlantic City?
We love coming to Atlantic City. We were here last year for the races too, and last year we had our own challenges. It was a bright sunny day. We had great visibility, but we had big seas last year. So, there's always something. And one of the unique things about powerboat racing is when we go to different events and we go to these different spots, there's always some type of challenge that we have to come over with. The racers have weather, they have seas, they have boat park conditions, they have hey, how do I get into this, or hey, I forgot this, or whatever. So there's always something. And there's one thing that's really nice about those boat racers and folks that follow along with it is we could turn on a dime. Like Nick said a minute ago, if this weather clears, boom, we know what's going on. We know how to organize that quickly and get right out there and get racing. So the nice thing about that is these teams are ready. They're chomping at the bit. They're excited to go, and we're excited to put on a big show here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the weather. I think that's really it at this point. A lot of expectations. As we're on the Steel Pier, by the way. If you can hear behind us, one of the rides just went off. What even is that thing?
Yeah,
I mean, my goodness.
That ride hasn't gone off all day, so that's
No.
telling me if they're going to do that, then maybe they might be
Gotta say, is that a good omen? Is that a good omen from what I'm seeing right here on Steel Pier? Some of the rides going up into the fog.
Well, Nick, if you ask me, right, that looks like a big windmill.
That is
And,
gigantic.
I think that's an effort by the Steel Pier to blow some of this fog off the race course
Yeah.
for us.
Is anybody on there? I don't see anyone on there, right? Are they just testing it? Maybe we'll jump on there a little bit, Nick. How about that?
Take a
We'll
ride,
get the whole
no
let the
problem.
whole crew go on there.
I do see the merry-go-round going off as well, so maybe they are trying to spin some of this weather out of here. That'd be a good thing to do. So yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, anything that helps, right? Anything at that point that helps. If you guys want to just kind of give the audience a little bit of insight on some of the racers for today, and just talk about what the expectations were if there were to be a race, and hopefully we can get it in.
Sure. So, kicking off the day is our smallest class in the fleet is Class 7. When I say smallest class, what I mean is 22-foot boats with single-engine outboards, limited to 300 horsepower. And these boats are your affordable way into the sport. You start looking at some of the Super Cat level teams or Modified V level teams, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Class 7 offers a way for somebody to get their feet wet, try it, see if it's for them, right? And now, as I say that, I want to also mention that these are some of the most talented drivers on the circuit. And I'm sitting here, multi-time world champion. Russ is sitting here, former national champion, current national champion. And we can attest to this. We fear the Class 7 guys. We say all the time, if only they had the checkbook to buy one of these boats, we'd be in real trouble.
We would be in trouble because those guys go out and do the exact same thing that we do, and they do it in those small boats.
Right.
It's unbelievable
talk
the
about the
amount of
difference.
talent
Yeah.
that they have.
Talk about the difference.
Well, you think so look at last year, right? Last year here we had some, they were calling 10 to 12. I was out there, I'm telling you, there was bigger stuff mixed in.
Wow.
And you got those guys out there in 24-foot boats doing the same thing we're doing in 30 and 40-foot boats. We're enclosed in a canopy. They're not.
Right.
They're out in the open. And when you watch those guys race, they're also bracketed to a speed. So with us, a lot of the race can come down to preparing for it. How'd you set the boat up and this, that, and the other thing. With those guys, they're bracketed to a speed. So it's how they're reading the water, how they're reading the race course, choosing the fastest way to get around the race course, and figuring out how to deal with the seas at the same time. Those guys are talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
They've got a lot of intestinal fortitude as well, so
Yes.
politely. So, yeah, and the Class 7 boats are exciting to watch.
Yeah.
There is a lot of deck-to-deck racing because they're limited to speed. They can't just blow by somebody. They are trying to figure out how to make that course as short as possible to get around there as quickly as possible so that they can get an advantage on their competitor. So.
Yeah, I mean, great insight right here, 97.3 ESPN. We're just kind of waiting around here at the Steel Pier, seeing if the weather can start cooperating. We're trying to push off. Steel Pier is trying to push off some of the rides, some of the fog at this point, off the pier. We've seen some dolphins out there, and that was a question we talked about a little bit earlier. They had the helicopters up, right? The Coast Guard follows everything, and just in case, when there's like animals and things of that nature out there, no pun intended, what does that mean for the racers, and how do you guys adjust?
So it's a great question. So we work really closely with marine life partners. Not so much in New Jersey in that we just don't have that kind of marine life, right? I assure you, none of those dolphins are in harm's way. They're way faster than we
Yeah,
are.
they're right around the pier. They're swimming around.
When we go places like the west coast of Florida, the east coast of Florida, you start to bring in the sea turtles, the manatees, right? Some of these animals that can't get out of the way, right? So what we do is we do put two helicopters in the air. One's carrying our paramedic jump divers. The other one is actually looking for marine life. And I've been in the boats when they throw the red flag and we pull down and wait, and we got to let a sea turtle clear the course or a marine mammal clear the course.
Yeah.
We do literally just sit there and
wait.
Yep.
Just
and
let them cross the road.
That's it. You can't shoo him off the course. You can't hurry him up. You can't bother him. And sometimes he's just hanging out. He wants to watch a race.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because we were seeing some of the dolphins swim around the Steel Pier right now as we're kind of waiting. We're in the delay as of now. But yeah, I thought that would be like an interesting question for you guys who've been around it because I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting when they're swimming around here. Right.
Oh, by the way, too, dolphins are supposed to be good luck.
Yeah.
We've got them swimming around.
We got dolphins. We have the rides going. I mean, we got a lot of good omens right here, right? I mean, I'm hoping. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick step off in just a second. Nick Earnshaw, 97.3 ESPN. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back to the Steel Pier, give you some updates on what's going on here at the War at the Shore powerboat races. Hopefully we get it going. Currently in the delay, but we'll take a quick break. Step off right now. This is 97.3 ESPN.
here in Atlantic City.
Here in Atlantic City.
We're waiting for the weather to cooperate as we're really anticipating this. We want to see these power boats race through the ocean, man. That's what we're here for.
I know we're waiting
And
for it.
it's like, yeah.
We were told by Nick, who was on earlier, that we have to wait till about like 2:30 is when we're gonna get a go or no go for this information. But we have a special guest joining us
We
right
do.
now.
So let's welcome into the broadcast Frank Rocco. He's the executive here at the Ocean Casino, and nice to see you.
Good to see you guys as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks for
Yeah.
all your great work.
Yeah, no, this is great. I think this will be great for Atlantic City, and we're excited about it.
Yeah.
So obviously in the springtime we get inclement weather like this. It's something we have to deal with. All sports have to, deal with the weather
Yeah.
conditions. It's a shame that we have these conditions here, but it's really cool to have this event here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's history of offshore powerboat racing here, right? So when Nick came and we started talking about bringing it back, I mean, it's just another phenomenal experience that we can provide for visitors of Atlantic City.
Yeah, and the Ocean Casino is one of the big sponsors of this, and I'm sure attracts a lot of people to Atlantic City.
Absolutely. So when Nick first came and approached us about this, as I said, we were excited kind of to renew some of the history of it. As you said, weather dependent,
Yeah.
and we've had a tough, spring, early
Yeah.
summer season here for sure on the weekends. But once we get going, I think it'll be great.
Have you ever had a chance to be on one of these power boats? Yeah.
I have, yeah, I have.
Look at his smile on his face.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons Ocean said one of the
Okay.
sponsors of this as well, right? No, but so if you go over to Ocean and you see the boat in the porte-cochere there,
Yeah.
so that's one of my speedboats, right?
Okay.
And so it's cool. So I know what it feels like, not to race like these guys, but to be in an offshore powerboat, and so I definitely have a personal affinity for this as well.
Frank, tell me about Summer at Ocean coming up, getting ready for the season. Can you talk to me a little bit about what's going on at Ocean Casino, what you guys are going to be a part of this summer?
Yeah, so if you know anything about Ocean, the history of Ocean is a phenomenal story. It's like none other, right? It's kind of, risen out of the ashes of what was Revel here in Atlantic City, and we're really focused on providing good guest service, guest experience, hospitality, and new amenities, right? So every year we're constantly reinvesting into the brand, into the property, and all over the property. So whether it's in the casino, in the hotel rooms, the restaurants, retail, we're constantly leaning into new guest experiences. So this year alone, we've added, a new Asian gaming pit. We've upgraded, a bunch of the rooms. So now every room in the building is now modern and upgraded to what the new modern standard is. Constantly evolving on food and beverage experience. So we've added, a new concept called Blend, which is just acai bowls and some healthy options. We're adding 2 Steven Star restaurants, which we're super excited about. Phenomenal in the hotel lobby.
One of my sponsors, Lascala's, is going to be open.
That's right. I was getting there. Yeah, no. So I'm
That'd be that. We broadcasted live from Lascala's Beach House in Brigantine for our Eagles pregame show. Of course, Rob Lascala does a great job with that. The food's phenomenal.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, so I'm friendly with Rob, and when we first opened Ocean, I tried to get Rob, right? So it was always a desire to have him and bring his brand here. And so this year we put it all together, and the restaurant looks incredible. Opening June 18th.
Oh, is that when the opening
Yeah,
is?
but just looks phenomenal. It'll be a great concept for Ocean's guests.
Frank, you also have great acts coming to Ocean.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Maniscalco, who's the comedian that?
Oh,
I don't-
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Sebastian, he's here.
Those are going to be great weekends. So we have them for 8 shows this September. We have them for another 8 shows next September.
Okay.
So our entertainment group has done just an incredible job in terms of bringing new entertainment, the acts that we're getting. And so it's all, it's the collective experience, right? We're trying to create all these different experiences inside the building that are conducive to a great, guest experience.
And we talked about the North Beach. You have a new area called North Beach that you promote, the northern end casinos.
Yeah, so North Beach is, I love it. You can call it Nobi, but North Beach is
Right.
is a cool spot that has a lot of energy, right?
Right.
Kind of the energy of the city has moved from what was, I would say, mid boardwalk, right, to down here in North Beach,
Right.
where we have different gaming properties, different different hospitality properties, right? And different experiences, Steel Pier being one of them, Tennessee Ave, just good energy down this end of the boardwalk.
Nick, you can hear us right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I don't know if you want, because you and Frank are now working closely together to bring this great event to Atlantic City. So I know that you have a history here, but if you want to build on that, obviously with today's weather, it's not conducive, but obviously moving forward, looking for better days.
Yeah, I just want to say, we couldn't have better partners on this event. Okay, like coming back to Atlantic City was cool, right? But to come back to Atlantic City with the branding of the ocean, right, and bring North Beach in. This event is obviously run in the ocean, right? We now have a title sponsor, a partner in the Ocean Casino and Resort, right? And then North Beach comes on and just totally blows it out of the water. I mean, this event is spectacular. It's a shame the weather didn't work out, but it's building. It's going to be a great event for years to come.
Frank, I was talking earlier to the guys about, I cover the Beach Patrol races, synonymous with South Jersey, right? South Jersey, we're bringing team to Cape May. Now we have the boat racing. It's another reason to come to Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'm up for anything racing.
Yeah, right?
Like anything, yeah, anything racing.
It's a competitive nature. We all strive to be competitive and to win.
Yep.
It's no different with powerboat racing.
Well, and if I have it my way, Frank's going to be on the race course soon.
So I'm gonna go home and tell my kids I won today. Because nobody knows any different, right?
How
Yeah.
long is your boat? Because I saw that boat's huge.
So that's a 50. That's a 50 foot. Yeah,
Get a big rooster tail off that thing.
it does when you start, and then it lays down a little.
So I told Brad Ryan, a friend of mine, I've been on an Avanti. A buddy of mine used to own an Avanti, and that boat went so fast. I had the goggles on. You had to have goggles on because you couldn't see. Your eyes were tearing up. Of course, the wind, you're going so fast that your skin is getting pulled back. But those boats have power, man.
Oh yeah. And you start to get into some of these boats like Frank's, like the outer limits there, the 50. Nowadays with power so commonly in the over 1,000 horsepower range. I mean, like 1100s, 1350s, 1550s. You're starting to see the horsepower catch up to what you see on the street, right? And now these boats are running numbers that just 10, 15 years ago you thought was impossible,
Right.
And it's incredible. It's a testament to the technology and the companies involved now pushing.
Frank, I'm in Ocean City in the summer, and I'm sit on the beach, and every once in a while, you see, is that your boat that I see running by?
I'm sure it's one of them.
What do you,
one of
what
them.
do you,
That's right.
how long does it take you to go down to Cape May and back?
So I could probably get to Cape May in 25 minutes.
Wow. Is that full throttle? Like,
No.
you can't go.
But I can go from my house to LBI in 11 minutes.
Get out, really?
Yeah. So I could be from my deck to Bird and Betty's in 11 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
there's a bunch of great guys that all have offshore power
Yeah.
boats in Brigantine, right? And
Yeah.
we all pal around, and so it could be any.
So you
any
like have
of us out there. Yeah. Not, it's not a formal club. It's just
Okay.
a group of guys that
Yeah.
run around to different, locations in South Jersey here.
That's pretty cool though, having a bunch of guys have their boats, they get out in the ocean and tear it up, and then you say, hey, I'd like to have a race come here, and here it is.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great that Nick approached us. Ocean, it's right on the beach here. Great visibility, great for our guests, right? And it's us being able to do another thing to promote tourism here in Atlantic City.
That's another thing, Dick. Like we're here on the Steel Pier, we're 1,000 feet out over the ocean, so we'd be like right on top of this race.
This is my favorite part of Atlantic City. Yeah, my absolute favorite part of Atlantic City. When we race in the ocean, you're always watching from a beach, right? And it's just no matter what you do, you can't get close to it, right? Here in Atlantic City, you can literally lean on the railing of the Steel Pier and get wet as these boats go by.
Wow, really?
It is so cool. I raced here years ago, and they actually yelled at us. We were so close to the pier. They were like, "Hey, man, that pier's expensive."
Brad and Brian were telling us earlier in the broadcast how loud these boats are.
Yeah, no doubt. It's great. So last year we watched from inside an ocean, and you could see it great.
Right.
You really couldn't hear it. Hearing it is such a part of the experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a great spot to watch it from.
We're here broadcasting live from the Steel Pier in Atlantic City. We're hopefully we'll get in the offshore powerboat racing here in Atlantic City. But you're listening to 97.3 ESPN's live coverage of the powerboat racing right here in Atlantic City, and we'll be back right after this.
7 years of fun and play. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for our
the powerboat, offshore powerboat racing today here. Unfortunately, we have some inclement weather.
Yep. Currently, we're in a rain delay as of now. We're waiting to get the next update in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. If you're waiting to hear what's going on with the races, we'll have updates momentarily for you.
And we're here with speaking with Frank Rocco, one of the executives here at the Ocean Casino. And Frank, we want to thank you so much for sitting in with us, but also bringing us to Atlantic City.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Nick,
Yeah, I'd love to add to that. So, Frank, I mean, you know how much I appreciate this, but thank you so much for bringing us in and trusting us to handle this event. We look forward to putting these events on all year long. We work on this for 7, 8 months at a time to put these events in town, and Frank is with us hands-on every step of the way, donating his entire marketing team, his media guys, I mean, just all the plethora of tools that he has under the roof of the Ocean Casino, and really made this event great. And I just want to say I really appreciate that, Frank. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And listen, everybody here knows, right, how much effort it goes into putting this together. Like, this is a labor of love, right? And so it's for love of the sport and trying to provide something that people really will appreciate. And so I can appreciate all the work that goes into this on Opa's behalf and Nick and his family.
Great job. And we hopefully, you know what's going to happen as soon as we get off the air. The
It's
weather-
clear up. I'm going to play golf at Great Bay.
All right, thanks, Frank.
All right.
See you, man.
I'll see you.
Yeah, Nick, it's unfortunate, but contingency plans. What's the next race for you guys?
So right after this, we go to Freeport, Long Island.
Okay.
We're heading out there July 11th through the 13th, and it's an inaugural event, but it's an old event. It's similar to Atlantic City. It was done back in the 80s, and we're gonna fire up that area. Long Island's really cool. It's similar to the Jersey Shore, right? Boating's just woven into the culture there, right? And so going back to Long Island also offers me a big opportunity to get some of these older boat racers to blow the dust off these things, get off the couch, and come out and run them.
I'll tell you what, man. Talking to Frank, that boat. We were talking about how big that boat is. I mean, that bow. It's like just like
50-footer.
What is it? Is
long.
there's no cabin in that?
Oh yeah.
Is there a cabin?
Nicer than our houses.
Really?
Yes.
I'm sure it is. Nicer than my house. I live in a phone booth.
Well, that one probably doesn't have AC, but a lot of them do.
He has a cabin.
Oh yeah, he has a cabin. He has a V berth in the very front, I'm sure, with 2 couches on either side. There'll be a little potty down there, I guess, to some extent, and there'll be a place to have beverages and things down there. So yeah, beautiful.
Well, with a 50-foot boat, you probably got a lot of room down there.
Yeah.
How big is the engine? Like
1550s.
1350
to 1550. Mercury came out with these motors that you can actually turn the switch, and it switches over to a different race fuel.
Really?
And it goes from 1,350 horsepower to 1,550 horsepower
Per engine.
That's crazy.
per engine. Times 2.
Every.
That
Wow.
Nick, what do you think? He's already left here, but how fast is that boat?
That boat will run damn near 160 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's got a cabin in it.
Yeah. Gee.
There's no way you can be sitting in a cabin when you're going that big.
No.
You know what's so cool about that to me, right? Think it back in racing lineage, right? Think about some of the boats that have been on a race course with us. First one that comes to mind is Augie Penson, right?
Yeah.
The Jersey Boys. Little fun fact, that's how OPA came to be.
Is that right?
That's right. So when we started racing back in the early 2000s, we would go down to Florida and run in that circuit. And every time we pull in, they would shiver and go, "Oh, the Jersey Boys are here." And that's how it started. And Augie had a 38 Scarab that we called the Flying Condo.
Yeah.
And because it had a full cabin, refrigerator, super sod in the fridge, the whole 9 yards. And he would go out there and race, right? Microwave. Now that boat, now that boat would run 85, 90 miles an hour. Back then, that was a really big deal, right? So think about it, to be sitting here in 2025 at the Wharf Ashore talking to Frank Rocco, right? His 50-foot outer limits, right? With a room in it that probably resembles one of his rooms at the Ocean Casino.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Will run over 150 miles. Wow.
Can you stand up in it? Like, can you stand up in the
Yeah.
really stand up?
It'd probably be about 6-foot headroom.
And here's just a little
It
kicker.
doesn't look like that from the outside.
Yeah. Well, here's just a little kicker on that as well from our friends over at Mercury Racing. When you buy a set of those engines, they also come with a 3-year warranty.
That's it, 3 years?
Only 3?
Only 3?
I'll tell you, back in the day when we were building horsepower, where you would say the words 1550, okay, that was about the same amount of seconds you got running one of those
Right,
motors.
right.
Okay, so to be sitting here today with a 3-year warranty on a power package like that, absolutely.
So the technology is just taking off. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when I said earlier that it's catching up to what you see on the street, right? You watch shows like Street Outlaws or something like that, right? You see these numbers of 3,000 horsepower, 4,000 horsepower. You just think, how? How do you get piston rods to hold up? How do you get cylinder heads to stay bolted on the block? How do you, and then you start looking and you see the work that Mercury's done, moving away from the superchargers into the turbo applications. And they're making a lot more up top horsepower now in a lot easier ways. For Frank, he goes to the same gas pump you would.
oh, is that right?
Yeah, back in the day to achieve
Well,
that.
you didn't have to put a mixture in, like.
Yep.
If you wanted to turn it up, you should. You
Right.
could run a higher octane, but you can run on the stock tune a 93 octane and make that kind of power.
That's right on the gas pump.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would imagine, like, when you're out on the ocean, you're getting the vibration. Can that mess up the engine? I guess.
Absolutely.
The vibration is probably so great that all that jiggling, it probably knocks screws loose, right?
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
harmonics. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
So to own and operate a boat like that, maintenance, right? It's just a constant job. Like for instance, moving back to the racing circuit, right? One of the boats you would have seen out there today was Up Motorsports, right? That's happened. I have to have a deep connection to it. It's my father and my brother, right?
Right.
And so I can speak to what goes on keeping a Super V on the series, right? Those aren't the same thing as what Frank's running. They're spec engines, power to weight ratio class, right? But you're stretching those horsepowers to those engines to the absolute limits, okay? Creating the most horsepower you can create. After every single race, the valve covers come off, the cylinder heads come off,
Clean
things
them and
get
everything?
rebuilt. Not just cleaning. I mean, a lot of times you're replacing 1 to 2 hour parts.
Really?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you get 1 or 2 races in, and that's that. Because you're going to spend the kind of money to campaign one of those boats. You're most certainly not going to show up to the next race in Grenada set $100,000 motor.
Right.
You didn't do maintenance. Right. So sometimes your best bet is to spend that, that $5, $10 to $15,000 top end rebuild or whatever the case may be to avoid a $60,000 catastrophe.
And of course, you talked about this earlier. That you have a boat just die in the water.
Yeah.
Because something's not right.
Sure. Like people get spoiled sometimes. On Sunday they turn on NASCAR or they turn on Formula One, and you don't see mechanical failure
No.
very often, right? Well, the big difference is rolling a car across the street is much easier than pushing a boat through the car, right? So what comes into effect at that point is the loading, right? So it's similar to if you were to get in your car tomorrow and drive straight up Mount Everest wide open. Right, that's the kind of load that these motors are under.
Wow.
When we go into a turn, you hear the RPM of the engine come down, right? You'll hear the boat down into the turn, right? That's not them lifting on the throttle. The motors can't produce the horsepower anymore as we turn.
Ah, okay.
Right, and so that's what people generally have a misconception about. It's not just the mechanics of that, but the kind of load that those motors are under.
And that's hard on everything. That's hard on prop shafts, on propeller blades. I mean, some of these things, a prop blade will fling off and they've stuck into the bottom of the boat before.
Is that right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 How much oil do these boats require?
It's standard. Most of them are, believe it or not, General Motors products, right?
'Cause when the pistons run up and down like this, right? I'm not mechanically inclined. I even let Nicky. He's my IT guy. I just let it talk. I don't know how anything works, but I know when the pistons run, right, and it needs to be lubed up.
Yeah.
It's to keep everything from overheating.
Yeah, but believe it or not, that's so you start to get into some of the what we call dry sump applications where the oil tank is external from the motor and the pump is pumping the oil into the correct places. That's the most efficient. And then you get into some of your 12 to 15 quart tanks and stuff like that. But for the most part, these are big block Chevys. This is the same thing that was in your mom's car. Yeah, no doubt. And see, the big thing here is you can build a $100,000 motor or you can build a $10,000 motor, right? And the truth is they'll both break. Right. So sometimes you're better off going with a cheaper rotating assembly or a cheaper set of cylinder heads because you anticipate the explosion, right? Like we're racing at the end of the day. We're not going crabbing.
Right.
So, so you know you're going to blow one up. So some of these guys have a different thought process where I'd rather pay a cheaper rebuild and more frequently than spending all the money and maybe make it through the season.
We're broadcasting live from the Steel Pier in Atlantic City for the Offshore Powerboat. The War at the Shore, sponsored by the Ocean Casino in North Beach, Steel Pier in Atlantic City. Anything you want to add?
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff
Keep
we can
at
add. So
because
yeah.
I got to be honest with you. One of the hardest things in radio is if you have something like this happen, you got to, contingency plans. I'm not familiar like you guys are with powerboat racing, so if I'm leaving anything out,
I mean, not really. I mean, we have to deal with a lot of these situations as well. So there's a lot of times when we've got some air that we need to fill because
Yeah.
we're dealing with a, weather situation, or hey, we can't get the boats in the water because we've got a crane issue. So there's
Right.
a lot of times where we have to, add some things in here, and we try to communicate with our teams and the people that are listening. They understand too, and we try to get that information out to them so they know what's going on. So, but yeah, there's a lot of cool things. Nick was talking earlier about technology and how it's changed over the years,
Yeah.
racing and things like that. Not only engine technology, but actual boat technology, the physical aspects of like the bottom of the boats are completely different now. You went from a straight hull boat to a step hull boat. Electronics are completely different now than when they were before. There's a lot of things with like engine monitoring, so you can monitor different systems directly on a screen in front of you that allows you to have a better idea of what's actually going on in the boat. So,
Says the tech guy.
So now race cars, Formula One cars go faster than NASCAR.
Yeah.
Power boats, they have different boats go different speeds,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely. There's
But it's all trial and error.
yeah, the
How
bigger
fast you can get it.
classes will go 150 miles an hour.
Right.
They have that capability. Usually because of the size of the course, they're going 130 to 140.
Okay.
But they have the capabilities of going upwards of 200 miles an hour, like
Okay.
we were talking about. It just depends on the course.
when
Yeah.
you've got like my boat, it's not the same speed as Frank's boat. Let's say, just
Yeah.
not apples to apples there. But there's a lot of different classes and a lot of different ways for people to get involved in the sport and come out and have a good time.
I've been to the Fiona 500 IndyCar. I've been to an IndyCar race out in California. I was sitting close to the track, and the speed at which the cars passed by me, like around like right by you, and you're really like taken back, like wow, man, the power. And I wish so. I'm so disappointed that we're not being able to see these today because it's pretty amazing.
It is, and it's what's pretty wild about what we do is the speeds are still severe. I mean, they're not 200 miles an hour like they used to be.
Right.
Back then, back in those days when Miss Geico was competing and then Miss Budweiser and some of these boats where you're seeing them take the back stretches at 198, 197,
Wow.
and offshore powerboat racing. Not, those days are kind of behind us now. The classes are tuned down into a more affordable and competitive version of racing. But imagine driving one of those Indy cars and running in the ocean where it feels like you're in a car accident every 15 feet.
Yeah, definitely. Changes constant. And you have to adjust for it all the time. And that's why there's two guys in the boat. Exactly.
Well, that's one thing we talked about before is that the NASCAR track doesn't change. I mean, there's some temperature changes and things like that, but it's not nearly as dynamic as what you're going to see out in the ocean on a race by race basis. You may have calm conditions for race one, crazy conditions for race two, and it goes back to calm. Winds change. There's all kinds of things that are way more complicated that these guys have to anticipate that you may not see in some of the other motorsports that are out there.
Well, not only that, Brian, but also the setup of the boat.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of different ways to set the boat up to go out and race, right? So sometimes you're putting smaller or bigger propellers on the boat, right? So the smaller the propeller, the more acceleration. The bigger the propeller, the more top end, right? So sometimes you'll see the racers out here at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning watching the wave heights, watching the wind, and trying to figure out not just what is the right setup for lap 1, but what will that setup look like on lap 8. And as they burn fuel, it changes the center of gravity. Okay, so that center of gravity that the boat pendulum's on in the ocean will start to move back as the day goes on. As they burn fuel and lose weight ahead of that line will now move back towards the transom of the boat. And they get lighter and they get looser and they get faster. Now, sometimes that works as a disadvantage, right? Because now you're losing handling. You're losing control of the boat. And sometimes consistent is key.
Yep. Well, I can attest to that. I try to run my boat at the shootout as light as possible, and yeah, it does not have the forward center of gravity that for the control.
So a friend of ours, right before the shootout, prepping the boat. This is when I was a crew chief for another race team. We were prepping the boat, and they decided, without consulting me, hey, we're going to take the boat, we're going to go to the gas station, we're going to fill it up. And I'm like, that boat holds 78 gallons of fuel. We want 9 gallons in it because it's heavy. And they're like, oh no, it'll be great. We just don't want to run out of fuel. I'm like, you're running a 3/4 mile. It's gonna be fine.
Right.
But, you know, so mistakes like that sometimes happen.
So how much? So when you know you're gonna run a 5-mile race, how much do you want to keep?
That's a lap.
Or oh, that's
and
a
you're
lap.
going to do 35
Oh,
miles
fine,
total.
okay.
So yeah.
So do you want to? So how much fuel do you try to? Would you fill the tank up, or you try to keep it as?
Well, for a 35-mile race, I would want to be able to have the capabilities of going total of 40, 45 miles. You want to add enough fuel that you have, you know, a buffer in there.
Right.
Because in case there's an incident or something, or you have to mill for a long time, you don't want to run out.
And you got to.
Yeah, no, that's the whole.
So how about? Let me ask you this question. You know, like in auto racing, they'll put up like yellow flag or whatever. If there's like an accident or something, or is that same thing for boat racing, offshore boat racing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, in the event of an incident like that, I mean, it does happen, right? We're in the ocean, or even on the lakes. I mean, where Brad and Brian are from, I used to race out there on the Lake of the Ozarks, and you get into some areas in the Lake of the Ozarks where it looks like the ocean. Well, so absolutely. And now, when you're going into the turns, if you ever look at the bottom of one of these boats, they have what's called lifting strakes on the bottom, right? And it's little 90-degree angles all the way down through the boat that helps lift it up out.
Oh, is that right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So now when you're turning, you're actually using them to turn, right? They're grabbing the water as the boat turns. So sometimes they grab an edge of the boat high side, and the guys get fished out of it, or the boat flips over, or whatever the case may be, right? So in that situation, we have some of the best safety teams in the world working with us. Because we don't have the luxury of time. You're in the ocean. So if somebody's unconscious or if something happens, you have a very small window of time to go save them. So we bring in paramedics, EMTs, rescue divers. We have topside recovery, Angel One, we call them, the helicopter in the air with the jump divers.
Right.
And so it's an impressive operation. It really is. And for as crazy and ruthless as the sport is, it is very safe.
We're here broadcasting live from the Steel Pier in Atlantic City. We were anticipating the offshore powerboat race here to be held, but with the inclement weather, the fog, and the mist, we don't know exactly what's going to be going on. We're waiting for Nick to make the call.
We haven't given up yet.
No. You know, I told you, know what's going to happen as soon as you make a call, the weather will change.
So actually, I do have an update to provide. We have been working all day with our partners at the New Jersey State Police and the United States Coast Guard. They've worked with us hand in hand this entire time, all weekend, supplying us boats to be out on the course to ensure the safety zone is going to be, operational for the races. And these guys are some of the best in the world. I travel the country doing this. I race nationally, internationally. I've never dealt with an outfit like Atlantic City. These guys are so professional, so willing to help. And right now, we're actually joined by Diego Sanchez, the United States Coast Guard, going to give us a quick update on the race.
Oh, nice.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, well, so, I spoke to my commanding officer. Of course, being the patrol commander has been delegated down to me. And just being in this, just having 18 years of experience, this is some of the weather that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Especially going at a high rate of speed. You got to think about it. Something's supposed to go, what, up to 80 miles an hour? Yeah, if
Or
not
that.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot more. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably governed down to 80 miles an hour, right?
Sometimes, yeah, by the ocean. Just how fast can you go and stay in the water?
Exactly. So if you look out, you can't even see, when I first got here, you see a few race runners. Now you can't even see any.
Wow.
So imagine a boat, going at a high rate of speed, going around one of the turns, and they mistake one of the turns for another. Now they're going in the middle of the race course, and they're going towards the safety boats.
Right.
And it's not safe at all.
No.
Next thing you know, 2 seconds go by. You have no time to react at a boat coming so fast. And then now the seas picked up a little bit too, so the boats, you're going to slot.
Good rock.
So, and it's federal law as well. Boats aren't equipped with any navigation lights. They don't have any sound signals that they can produce. So it's just overall, unfortunately, it's unsafe to continue the race.
So we're not probably going to see a race today.
More than likely than that.
No.
Just to be realistic.
No, so and I want to say too, Diego has been over my shoulder
Yeah,
all
I've
day
seen it.
today, and I got to tell you that these guys, if there was a window today that we were going to fit a boat race in, they were going to help us do it.
Yeah.
They've been phenomenal partners. The New Jersey State Police is standing right behind Diego. It's been a group effort today. It's really unfortunate. A lot of us were so excited for this event. And right now, as we speak, I'm watching my guys go out there and collect all the course markers.
Oh, so they're picking them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last year it was the waves. The sea wasn't really cooperating with us. This year it's now you can't see nothing.
Any chance that you might move the date of the race back? Because I know, like I spoke earlier about how in June, especially here on the Jersey Shore, June can be inclement. You can get the fog because of the disparity between the
Right.
air temperature and the ground temperature, the ocean temperature.
Right.
Any maybe idea that you might want to push it back until like in July?
So usually, I would say no, right? But this is Atlantic City,
Yeah.
right? And they like to hedge their bets.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to walk out of here right now and into the sponsors' offices and the city's office,
So that would be up to you and Frank, basically.
absolutely in the city,
And the
in the city. We have partners there at the Atlantic City Sports Commission and Visit Atlantic City, and we will reconvene and figure out what the plan is from here. If they feel that the smartest thing to do is to push into 2026, that's what we'll do. If they want to take a swing at 2025, I'm absolutely up for it.
There you go.
We have the right partners here. I do believe that the Coast Guard would work with us on the short turnaround. We do have the plan in place. We already established that we can do it. We just
Well,
need
what
to
is the
take-
reason for you not doing it in July as opposed to doing it in June? Because there's so many boaters on the water, or just
That's a factor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. So obviously we operate a series, not just this one event, right? So sometimes you're just filling the
Good.
slot that's
other
currently
days,
open,
right?
right? But in these situations, so Diego referenced last year, right? Last year I've been around powerboat racing since the late 1990s, but really involved in 2001, right? And since then, I had never seen a boat race in my life as rough as Atlantic City was last year.
Oh wow.
It was
Wow.
it was rough. When earlier when Russ Bruninger was on and said to you they called 8 to 10s and he swore it was bigger. When they say things like that for the general audience, Diego can elaborate on this. When you hear 3-foot swell, you have to imagine that's a 6-foot wave,
Yeah, that's right.
right? So when they're calling 8 to 10s, you're out there sometimes with 12, 14-foot waves.
People don't you measure the wave from the back of it.
Well,
Right? Is that correct or no?
that's certainly-
Like surfers,
they-
they look at the face of a wave. It could be 6 foot, but it's actually a 3-foot wave.
Well, in California they measure off the back,
Right.
but over here they measure off the front.
Okay.
We measure
Okay.
we measure it from the period of swell. So
Okay.
the top of the swell from another swell. You could have those small waves in between, but we're going to count those 2 consecutive swells coming in. That's how we calculate it.
All right, we're here broadcasting live from the Steel Pier in Atlantic City for the offshore powerboat racing. We'll continue with our coverage on 97.3 ESPN.
7
runoff scheme.
That's an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah, and they were also delaying. That was in Pittsburgh. There's a system also coming through too.
I looked at
so.
the radar, guys, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, it's been really rainy in the Midwest too.
yeah.
And one of our camera guys drove out from the Midwest,
Okay.
and it followed him the whole way out.
Wow.
He goes, I was driving through rain the entire day for 2 days.
So we've had a lot of it's been humidity. We have a lot of humidity here. Do you guys have humidity in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get further west and you lose the humidity.
Yeah. Out in the desert.
It's been humid here.
Yeah.
With the Jersey Shore. Did you have your air conditioner on last night?
I did.
Yeah, I didn't have.
I did.
I live on the second floor of a apartment in Ocean City, and I said to Nick, he stayed at my house. I said, if you need to turn the air on, go ahead. But I didn't turn my air on.
I had it down a little bit low. It was
Yeah,
great. I was
yeah.
perfect. It was awesome.
But does humidity have anything to do with the boat racing?
So you have to adjust some of the motors, not the fuel-injected motors
Right.
as much, but the old-school carbureted motors.
Okay.
They have to, tune for the setup of the day, and if it has a lot of humidity, they have to tune for that. And how heavy it is. So, but usually not.
You guys, I'm super disappointed, man. I wanted to see these power.
No.
They
We flew from Kansas.
I know.
What do you mean?
You drove
you're
20
upset?
minutes.
You guys gonna turn your allegiance to the Eagles, man. The Eagles.
Yeah, you got to switch
Hey.
over.
Hey, I think your mic's cutting out again. It's some audio trouble, folks.
So you know what's actually funny? I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I got my
Yeah,
my,
it's on.
my thing on
I got
here.
my hat on.
But it has both the Kansas City emblem
Yep.
and the Eagles emblem.
And I
Super Bowl
appreciate that.
59.
I appreciate that.
Hey, and if you look at that, do you know which one's listed first?
Yeah, I do see that.
Oh, wow.
Customary left to right.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what. Like I said earlier, both of those Super Bowls that we were in, and
Yeah.
anytime
Yeah.
we play you guys, it's a
And we
great
play
time.
game
It's a
two.
great game.
Game two.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early on this
Yeah.
year.
at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So our first game is in Brazil.
Oh,
Yeah.
we play.
That's how it was
that's
for
what
the
we
Eagles
played
last
this
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Who do
played.
you play against? You know who that game is in Brazil?
I don't.
I can
I
check.
Look that up.
Yeah. I don't know.
On-site
Yeah.
producer. I
Do you
got
guys
it.
get to go to a lot of the games in Kansas City?
No, but I hear that somebody in my family is going to be getting some
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So my oldest daughter, Stella, she just made the Chiefs cheerleading.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
That's-
we've had I do a show called The Locker Room with Billy Schwein every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and I try to get a variety of guests. And I've had a couple Eagles cheerleaders over the course of my 10 years on the radio, and it's interesting, fascinating to hear how they prepare. It's like it's a sporting event.
Yeah.
They got to be in
Absolutely.
shape. They got to prepare.
Yep.
They got to practice.
Yep.
And it's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not. And they're moving the entire time.
Yeah.
She is in amazing shape. She really is. And she tries to perfect her craft as much as she can. She's just coming out of a 4-year college career,
Okay.
and she danced the entire time
Where did
there.
you go to college?
Kansas State University.
Okay.
Manhattan,
Yeah.
Kansas.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they actually won
They're the
3
Cougars, right?
No,
Wildcats.
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 They won 3 national championships in dance while they were there.
Really?
Yeah,
How
so
about
she's
that?
Now, my
proud of
daughter,
that.
I have a 10-year-old daughter,
now.
does cheer.
Yeah.
They give scholarships out for that nowadays.
So yeah, and so we would
Professional cheer.
let Stella do cheer
Okay.
because she's little,
Yeah.
and I knew she would have been one of the flyers.
Yeah, well, that's what my daughter. She's a flyer.
Yeah. So my
Why
wife
you don't
was,
want to be a flyer?
well, yeah.
Is
Some of them can walk after that. Some of them can't.
that right?
Yeah, there's
So there's some danger.
yeah.
So with everything, right? Offshore boat racing, powerboat,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yes.
Football, basketball, get hit in the head with a baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have severe. Football. You can be.
You get hurt?
Get hurt
There's
pretty severely.
All kinds of ways. that
Every
these things can
sport.
happen, as I see all the time in my daily life. So yeah, my
But that's part of the intrigue of sport, right?
Yeah.
The danger.
Yeah.
The adrenaline.
The competition.
The competition, the human drama
Yeah.
of athletic competition,
There's
the
nothing
thrill
better.
of victory and the agony of defeat.
well, and Mother Nature defeated us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. By the way,
Adrenaline.
Chiefs Chargers in
That's it.
Sao Paulo. That's taking on the Chargers to start the year.
Chargers. So my co-host Nick and I, we have our coach Dave Klemick,
Yeah.
former
Yep.
Kansas City Chief, played for Dick Vermeil, the Chiefs. He says when we all know about the rivalry between the Raiders
Yes.
and the Chiefs.
Raiders.
Why is that? Why is the hatred there between you two guys?
So I have no idea. But it's been a long-standing rivalry that's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Raiders
And
week is always a deal.
Dave Clement would tell Nick and I,
yeah,
about how intense. Like we think the Cowboys Eagles is bad, or
That's
the
pretty
Giants.
intense too.
He said in Kansas City there's nothing like it. You see that rival, people just get lathered up, man.
Fired up.
Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like it's crazy, but at the end of the day, if you go to the stadium, there's a bunch of Raiders fans. There's a bunch of Chiefs fans. It doesn't matter what stadium you're in. And there are times when that boils over. But at the end of the day, honestly, it's a pretty good time.
Yeah.
And those games that entire week, the city is just absolutely electric. People are talking smack the entire time. And I work with the Raiders fan, and
Oh,
when
yeah.
I don't care. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna give him some stuff about it, just because I can.
Yeah, why
So,
not?
but it's just a year round. But that week, it's over.
Yeah.
So you guys are from Kansas City. What is your perception of Philadelphia sports scene, just from afar?
Well, we get to see it from the other Kelsey.
Oh
You know?
yeah, right.
Yeah, the other
Take
Kelsey.
that.
And it's cool to see that how you guys really embraced him when Jason was playing,
Yeah.
and it was so cool. And the Rocky, you guys
Yeah,
got the Rocky
Rocky
stuff
statue.
and everything. So yeah, and my son just flew here for a basketball game a couple months ago. So yeah.
What's the perception out there of the Philly fan?
Yeah,
As
the
you
Philly-
guys
yeah.
see it, of the Philly fan. What is your guys' perception?
Well,
to
you
say
guys
the
are
least?
rivals. I mean, they would let's just call a spade. A spade,
Oh, man, we got a bad reputation of throwing snowballs
Yeah.
at Santa Claus.
That's all we get. That's all we hear. Throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. That's
Which,
it.
by the way, let me just for the record, the reason why people threw snowballs at that particular Santa Claus
Yeah.
was because the real Santa didn't show up. And it was some drunken guy in the stadium. He was the worst Santa. His outfit looked horrible. He was drunk, and people didn't like it, and they started throwing snowballs. I wasn't think they were throwing snowballs at Santa. They were snowballs at that Santa.
At the impersonator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool. No. I don't think you guys are bad fans. Like I said,
Passionate fan.
I say that tongue in cheek.
Just don't go to the 700 level
Yeah.
with that.
No.
I got a question for you. So you know how there was a lot of when the Patriots were so dominant,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of hatred there.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like the Patriots because of that, other than the Patriots fans. So, but we're feeling that now as a Chiefs fan.
Right.
You used to be able to wear a Chiefs hat through any airport. Now they're like, oh man, and they
Well,
give us a hard time.
When you're on the top, everybody wants to knock you off.
Yeah.
You guys been to 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Right.
All right,
So-
that's a really good achievement in and of itself. I mean, Buffalo did it. They went 4 times in a row, never won one.
Yeah.
At least you guys have won 2, right? You
Yeah.
won 2 now. So yeah.
In a row.
Yeah.
You won in a row.
Three.
You won three.
In, the,
Yeah.
in this era, yeah, you
Oh,
won
this-
3.
you won one
2 in a
Hank-
row.
Hank Stram was your coach going back then.
Go way
To be
back.
able to
Big Hank.
matriculate the ball down the field, boys.
Whatever it takes to win. Hey, whatever. So,
Yeah.
So what do people need to know? Phil, what if people from the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia area need to know about Kansas City? Like barbecue, like what's the best? Like what's the one thing that you want people to know about Kansas City?
Well, the secrets that we don't want to get out. we
Share
have
'em here. Share
well,
with us. Jersey Shore.
We have great
Sure
people.
listening on
We
it.
really do. I mean, if you come to go to a game or anything like that, it's the Midwest hospitality.
So you can wear the opposing team's jersey.
Yeah, and you'll just
I
get
can-
ribbed. Yeah,
Yeah, you'll get ribbed in a good way, but at the end of the day, it's a fun, exciting
Yeah.
time. And,
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, the barbecue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good food.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rivalry. Everyone comes up and says, "Hey, we've got the best barbecue." We go to places and say, "Hey, you need to come eat barbecue." Like we're from Kansas City. They go, "Oh yeah, never mind."
Yeah, you see the chef in the back go.
Yeah, never
I
mind.
get it. So, but it's interesting. Kansas City has a lot of things going on. We're right now they're talking about putting a dome over Arrowhead.
Are they really?
In Arrowhead there was a
Would you want to see that?
so there was a small tornado went through their parking lot the other night.
Oh, get out.
Stella was supposed to be there for a practice
Uh-huh.
coming up, and they canceled it and did a Zoom. But yeah, it was no damage there at the stadium. But they're talking about, and right next door to Arrowhead Stadium is the Kansas City Royals,
Right.
the K. And so they're thinking about redoing both of those stadiums. And then we have Kansas City is half in Kansas, half in
Yeah,
Missouri,
Missouri, yeah.
and so you have then the states fighting over who's going to get them.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Missouri's trying to keep the stadiums over on their side,
Right.
and then Kansas is over here saying, hey, we'll give you star bonds, we'll do whatever you need. Come on over here. So we'll build you a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
And we have the Kansas Speedway near our home, And so that's a big development right in that area. And the American Royal American Royal whole organization is right there. And American Royal is a great big rodeo, and they're building a new facility out by the Kansas Speedway. Yeah. So
So do you want to see a dome on the stadium out there?
Clark Hunt wants one. Doesn't matter if Brad Harrington
Well,
wants.
I'm a proponent of one in here in Philly, right?
I wouldn't mind a dome because
People are-
the reasoning is because you would get more events. You could
Exactly.
You get a-
you could get a Final Four. You could get all those type of events. That's
I
the
don't
only
want to see
reason
it.
I would
I don't
want a
wanna
dome.
see it, Nick. I like the elements.
I'm with
Except for when powerboat racing.
Oh,
is
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Put a dome over the ocean.
Yeah, can we put a dome over? We could have got the racing today.
You plan a concert and you get a rain.
Yeah.
That's
You know, maybe one of the football players, his girlfriends, would want to have a big concert or something.
Speaking of
You know,
Speaking of girlfriends, what do people think of Taylor Swift in Kansas City?
Is it? Are you
Is it a
tired of it
distraction?
now?
What do you think?
Is it been too much?
You know,
done with it?
it's not really I'm 52. I'm not into that music, but I think Travis Kelce's girlfriend's pretty cool. She is, because they do a lot of cool things around Kansas City.
Okay.
They do a lot of fundraising. You know,
Oh,
she's
okay, that's cool.
such an ambassador. Every time she comes to town, she goes straight to the Children's Hospital.
No, she-
Oh, does tons. So it's really
There's
cool.
something. But I got, first of all, Nick, I got to be honest with you. I have a 10-year-old.
Yep.
Also, I have a 40-year-old. But I have a 10-year-old. She loves Taylor Swift. I have no problem with Taylor Swift being a part of the Kansas City experience. I mean, I think it enhances. Look at all the new fans that are attracted to Kansas City.
Yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
football
Taylor Swift.
and just football in
And just
general.
football in
Yeah.
general.
Do you think it kind of tapered off though? The
Well,
the
of course, the beginning, the excitement of it
Yeah.
all, that has worn off a little bit. But I still think that because
I think it matters.
she's been like an ambassador to
Yeah.
football, if you will.
She is.
I think the news has
Absolutely.
worn off a little bit as well, but I still think it's really good for Kansas City. It's really good for the NFL. I think it's
Yeah.
been I think the positive way outweigh any negatives, if there are any negatives,
Yeah.
really. I think it's been a good thing. And, you know, there are people that are tired of it, but there are people that are tired of all
Yeah,
kinds of
no,
stuff.
that's true.
You know, there's
Yeah.
always going to be haters to some amount. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're doing good stuff. It's making an impact, and it's positive.
So, okay, your 10-year-old?
Yeah,
Okay, they got the bracelet thing?
yeah.
Okay, and I don't even really understand that whole thing. You might be able to tell us.
I have no idea.
So you know how he like asked her out?
Yeah,
He made a bracelet
Oh,
to
that-
give to Taylor.
that's right. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, no, get back here.
no, go away."
And he's
Yeah.
like, no, if you could just give that to him. And then they finally figured out who he was and how he was
I'm
wanting.
sure
you
she didn't
know.
even know who.
He did. She didn't.
Yeah,
at
she
the
didn't know.
time.
Yeah, I believe he told that. I think it was like they talked about that on the New Heights podcast.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey, etc. So I think that's where that
Yeah.
story came from. Overall, but yeah, it was a fascinating the way the whole thing just kind of materialized, right?
You can see their enthusiasm for
Yeah.
each other. You really can, and it's cool. That's what I'm saying.
And like, although you see the Kelsey family, they're going to like the concerts and stuff, like even like not even in America, like across across the world.
And Mama Kelsey, she's incredible.
She's
yeah,
yeah,
she's a rock
Super.
star in
yeah.
Kansas City.
Is she really? Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're a rock star down here too.
Her jersey was half the cheap.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we have both. I mean, they get to experience Travis for
Yeah.
the most part. We had Jason down here. Jason got a trip.
He's
By
a
the way,
good dude.
Jason
Jason's a
Jason
trip.
Kelsey
He's
lives.
awesome.
Jason Kelsey lives in Seattle
Yeah,
in the summer.
yeah,
Which
really.
is about maybe 15 miles
Yeah.
south of here.
Yeah.
20 miles south
Yeah.
of here. Which is not
You always see him down here.
Well, I always like seeing him in the parades. You guys
Oh,
put on the
God.
king and everything.
well, that speech is just like
That
the speech
speech-
that he gave at the steps of the art museum.
Yeah.
Nothing like.
Nothing will beat that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Dogs go run
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah, it was expletive filled too. We can't see for FCC airwaves, but yeah, that was an incredible speech. That is very well known around this.
Well,
this
Travis'
area.
most well-known speech
Yeah.
in Kansas City
Yeah.
is telling everybody you got to fight for your right to
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
did
a
get a
great.
little tired of that for a minute, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. We love
It
it.
worked.
Do
It worked.
people in like when during the football season is she in the news? Like is she like always in the sport like part of the sports?
Well, you
news?
guys watch the games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
time.
pure-
And the football guys are like, would they quit showing her, please? So, you know, it's not complete. And they're like, oh, Taylor she's in
Right,
the stadium.
right,
and
right,
she's
right.
made her way to
Yeah.
the suite, you know?
I feel like they've gotten tired of saying it
Yeah.
on the broadcast.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool because, you know, there was some concern or some thought that maybe this was kind of a marketing hype or something like that.
Right.
when you see them away from the football field and away from the concert scene, I mean, it seems genuine, and I think that, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool for a long time. And I wish
He's only, how many more years is he? Only like 1 or 2 years left on his contract?
Who?
Travis Kelce.
he's
Yeah.
going to sign a
maybe
30-year
yeah.
extension.
Be there forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason
and Mahomes.
Kelsey, ever since he retired, he still kind of hangs around the NovaCare complex.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
still just hanging around. He's helping out, coaching a little bit. How much do you think that kind of irked him not being on the team last year? There's got to be part of it.
Well, I'm sure there's
that
a
they
certain
loved.
amount of-
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Because it was the first year he retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they go win the Super Bowl. I mean, there's got to be part of it that's just like,
You think?
yeah.
I was surprised he retired. To be real honest.
He played for like 15
for a
years.
long
I know he
time.
did. I know
And he's a center.
Yeah.
By the way, he was always he was undersized. When he first got drafted, people in Philadelphia were like, this guy, he's not going to be any good for us. And proved them wrong.
Not the size of the dog in the fight, the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah, that's a true
So
statement.
yeah, kid from just one town over that went to Kansas State is now the starting center for Dallas.
Is that right?
Cooper Beebe.
Okay.
Yeah. Great family.
So my sister was her husband was stationed at Fort Leavenworth.
Oh yeah, just north.
So I've been to Kansas City.
Oh yeah. Well,
One hat town.
I live just south of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. So you asked us about, what we thought of Philly fans. What do you think of KC fans? Or that, and then also, what do you want us to know about Philly to take back to KC? Like, what don't we know about your fans? And
That's a good question. I think what I
don't. Yeah, I don't. There was Kansas City fans. I thought were fine. Like they were great. There was no problems.
They
with
never
that.
moved the needle for me
No.
one way or the other. Like because you're in the AFC, and
Midwest.
Midwest.
Yeah.
It's not on my.
It's
Kansas
not-
City's
not
not
a
on my
Ca-
radar.
You're not a Cowboys
small
fan.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Small
yeah, small market. So I never really put too much thought into it.
No opinion on their fans.
I told you guys I was a Chiefs fan growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always an Eagles fan, but that was my AFL
The
team.
AFL.
Right.
So I was always aware. There are a lot of people that aren't. What I want you guys to know about Kansas City fans know about Philly, that when you go to a game, you're going to see people that live and die. Like their whole lives revolve around
The Eagles.
and it's
Really.
serious. Yeah.
Dead serious.
You know what? And I'll bring this up. This is something that resonates with me. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, I can't tell you how many people, not just guys, all people from all walks of life, call me up and tell me, crying on the phone, talking about their father or their mother or their grandparents, spent their whole lives loving the Eagles, and they passed away and they missed it.
Yeah.
Waiting their whole lives for a champion.
Finally got it.
Get it. And that was that resonated with me. Like, that's passion.
Yeah, there were some passionate fans in Kansas City too. We had a lot of rough years.
Yeah, but see, you won one in the 70s with Hank Stram.
We did. Right.
So you had a Super Bowl. Philadelphia we won the 1960 NFL championship
Yeah, before the Super Bowl.
before the Super Bowl.
Right. Right.
You guys had won a Super Bowl. So you kind of got that taste out of your mouth.
Before
We
a guy
never
named
did.
Lamar Hunt came up with this idea was Super Bowl.
Yeah, right? No,
Lamar Hunt.
Lamar Hunt.
yeah.
But wasn't that from a Super Bowl? This kid was playing with a Super Bowl. One of those, remember those the Super Bowl
Yeah.
bouncy ball?
yeah.
Well, he
And he
wanted-
went Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, it was a great marketing idea.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do.
So yeah, like people in Philadelphia, even though like you said, 1960 was a long time ago, and then I'm old. I was born in '61. My whole life, Philadelphia stunk, and not only did they stink, they were like how people in New Orleans put bags over their heads, like Philadelphia. But one thing about Philly fans, Eagles fans especially, as bad as they were, sold out all the time.
Really.
Sold out.
Well, when we were like, I was born in '69, and so when the Chiefs won their Super Bowl, I was still pretty young, and then we were bad a long,
Yeah.
long time. And I was starting to question. I'm like, all right, I'm getting old here. Is this actually going to happen? And to be, everyone, some people are tired of Mahomes or whatever. I'm so thankful that Mahomes is there and Kelsey's there and the Hunt family in general is there because they've really made such an impact on Kansas City. And it's just exciting to see it. It's an exciting time for us. And I know people are like, oh, here's a Kansas City fan talking about it. But it's really cool for what it does for a community.
Right.
Whether it's, the next team that, comes from having years and years of bad, how it really changes that community, brings people together. It's really cool to see. And
You guys just have the Royals and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You used to have the Kansas City Scouts, the hockey team, wasn't that? Did they have a hockey team?
A
I
little
think it's
hockey
Colorado now, right?
Yeah, a little.
yeah, and
little
we had the Kansas City Kings. basketball team.
Okay.
And then we had, what was the soccer team? Comets. Yeah. KC Comets. I don't know who they are now, but
Now we got Sporting KC.
yeah.
Did you guys ever watch Bo Jackson play?
Yeah.
Probably one of the best, probably the best athlete
Ever.
ever.
Yeah. His
We
highlights
actually
are-
talked about this the other day.
Yeah, you found out with PJ.
The question was posed, who would you want to be your running back? Bo Jackson or Saquon Barkley?
They say he was such a cool guy too. Bo Jackson.
Yeah, he was such, like, I remember him at Kansas City Royal breaking that back over his knee.
Yeah.
Just snapping it like a,
Freaking did one over his head.
yeah.
I literally just watched his replay of the throw from the outfield to get the guy at home. That was incredible.
Oh.
Holy crud, you know.
Yes. How about when he walked up the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that,
Ran up and around the wall.
It's out like unbelievable.
Yeah.
His athleticism was like, I don't think I don't think there'll ever be anybody like Bo
To
Jackson.
play both.
Yeah.
A friend of mine ran into him in an elevator one time and was just
And fell over like hitting the wall.
just really down to earth. Like if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't know. I
Right.
mean, he's just a regular guy, down to earth. You know, yeah, that's really cool.
Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball.
Bono.
Remember that
Yeah,
commercial, right?
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Kansas City Royals, how do they do with their fans? Or do they have a good? I mean, the Kansas City Royals. You guys won the World Series a few years back. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And we've been doing pretty good.
Was it 15?
2015.
2015.
8 games back, I think, right now.
But did they have a good attendance?
For the most part. We were there for a while. We didn't.
Well, they were bad.
They were really bad.
Well, and we just did.
Not like the Chicago White Sox or the Colorado Rockies bad, but they were pretty bad.
We just did they just had a big charity event called Big Slick, which is a big softball charity event that precedes a Royals game that I get to go to. It was a lot of fun, and even though we're not selling out the stadium every single night, we still have a lot of people that are coming up and showing up for the games and having a good time. And there's the organization themselves have done a really good job at involving the community and involving the crowd during even all the games. And it's you get into the stadium, and if there's 3/4 of the stadium sold out or whatever the attendance is, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time
Yeah.
if you're there, and they work really hard to make sure that those fans have a good time all the time. So kudos to the organization for that.
They just had the Savannah Bananas.
Oh,
Yeah,
they are.
Huge show.
Aren't they insane?
Sold out.
Aren't they insane? They're
I don't
selling
know
out
what the
stadium.
attraction.
What do you mean you don't know what the
What is it? It's
attraction
not even baseball.
It's the Globetrotters of baseball, essentially. That's what the
It's
bananas
exactly
are.
what it is.
That's
It's
exactly
all about
what
the
it is.
show. It's all
It's
about
a
the
show.
I didn't really like the Globetrotters.
Ah, no, you're no
No,
fun.
I've been to several. I've
You're
been
no
to three
fun.
Globetrotter shows in
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah. It's cool. I haven't been to one yet, but it's a cool marketing idea, and to bring people into the actual game.
But when I
And,
took the tickets, you couldn't. It's like you can't get. You
Really?
can't get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That they play
there's like a
in
wait
Philly?
list.
That they play
Yeah,
in
they're playing in
Oh.
Philly, I believe, the weekend of my birthday, late July.
So now they're going to bigger stadiums.
Yeah.
They're going to football stadiums.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard they're pretty positive.
And then
That's an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard. No, they're gigantic.
and when you hit a foul ball, if somebody catches it, it's an out. And so they see that more in football stadiums because
Okay.
they're going to have more foul balls. That's part of it. Yeah.
It's a big show. They had. I saw like the one clip, the guy on stilts who pitches, and
Yeah.
stuff. They have a guy on stilts like that. The Savannah Bananas are nuts. Like
Yeah,
just
they're
nuts.
legit.
When
They're
they asked
legit
that
fun.
guy, they said, "Can you slide?" And he goes, "I don't know. I'll try it."
No, the Savannah Bananas are really cool. Like that. That's an event I need to get to at some point. Like, I feel like that's a bucket list thing now.
See, that would not be on my bucket list.
Why?
What?
HU
I've
would
been,
love
I've been to a Kentucky Derby. I've been to a Fiona 500. I would have been to an offshore boat racing today if the weather would have cooperated.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list thing for me.
Well, yeah.
I don't think put the bananas
back.
on. I don't think bananas-
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next.
We have other events that you guys can come to.
Yeah.
Come on down.
I'll just get on my American Airlines plane
There
and
you
fly
go.
on in.
Come on.
Fly
The locker room all over the country.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen. He's gonna end up going to a Bananas game.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a
Greatest-
huge fan.
yeah.
The next time you guys show up for your locker,
Yeah.
he'll be decked.
Yeah.
Head to
He'll be
toe.
yellow.
Yellow.
Head to toe.
Little
Yellow-
banana
yellow-
hat.
Yellow kiss a fella.
Yeah. Oh, a yellow hat. Yeah. He'll have the whole
Yeah.
nine,
Yeah.
to say the least. But if you guys want to give one more update on what transpired today, the delay, and then the eventual cancellation of today's events?
Well, unfortunately, today's race here in Atlantic City, the Warwick Shore, was canceled because of the fog. I mean, we've got a backdrop right now. You can't even see the hotels for 1,000 feet out here in the water.
Can't even see the boardwalk.
Cannot see all the way to the end of the boardwalk. So, unfortunately, we were not able to get the race in today. We wish we could have brought it to you. We just can't make it happen.
Yep.
And it's something that we hate to do. We hate that part of it, for the fans, for the racers, for everybody that's listening. We have a lot of people at home that watch these races intently, and they're like, okay, we're waiting. And they understand offshore time, like we talked about a little bit before, and they're like, okay, it's coming anytime. And when we have to do something like this, it's just one of those unfortunate things that, it just happens.
Yeah.
Broadcasting live here in the Still Pier in Atlantic City.
Yep.
We were hoping to see the offshore boat racing, but the weather did not cooperate.
Yeah, it did not cooperate. You will have Billy and I at least until 3:30.
Okay.
As of now. So Billy and I will stay on for another half hour. We're gonna talk a little Philly sports.
Okay.
To say
Why
the
not?
Why not?
We're gonna let our Kansas City friends,
Yeah.
Kansas City friends leave.
Let them go, guys. Thank you
Guys,
so much.
Thank you very
very
much.
much.
Well,
We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. And I really wish we would have been able to see
Yeah.
this race because I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of fun.
Well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year, you'll
All
set the event.
All right,
Brad, Brian, thank
Yep.
you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep, we'll take a quick step off with Billy Schwein, Nick Earnshaw. We'll see you on the other side of the top of the hour. Talk a little Philly sports for you until about 3:30. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back on the other side. A little Philly sports, a little locker room extended.
The locker room.
Here we go. Yeah, we'll be right back right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Welcome to North Beach, where the sun shines brighter and the fun never ends. Enjoy one-of-a-kind experiences, perfect for the whole family. From all-star entertainment and shows you can't miss, to the best gaming options around. There's ocean view rooms and relaxation at every corner. Whether you're looking for local flavor or something more indulgent, your taste buds will thank you. Raise a glass to cheers-worthy bars and make new memories this summer at North Beach. Your Atlantic City adventure starts here.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Save $100 on the Craftsman V20 6-tool power tool combo kit, now at $199. No matter what the project is, Craftsman's high-quality, high-performance products empower you to build on. Stop by your nearest Lowe's store and check out the full line of Craftsman tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Comcast Business is celebrating small business